It's amazing to be part of this era of the sport.
A new, fresh start.
Looking forward to racing and getting the season rolling.
We've got some of the stars of tomorrow, I think.
We will see who gets the win.
And here we go. T100. The athletes give every ounce of energy they have.
Real car spin! Car spin!
That is the effort of T100.
Now the race is on.
It is a run showdown. Your world champion!
Incredible events all over the world, but right now, on this weekend, all eyes turn to Wollongong on the south coast of New South Wales, Australia, for World Championship events all across the spectrum. And today, right now, it is time for the under-23 women. This should be, if the under-23 men, which happened earlier on, is any indication, an incredible race full of superstars. And, well, the number one in the men's was Martin Kropko, finished in the silver medal position, and now his sister Marta takes the top seed position for Hungary. My name is Will McCloy, and alongside me once again for this one is Belinda Granger, 15-time Ironman champion, and she's getting her first taste of short course racing. And Belinda, the men's was incredible. Can't wait for this one.
All I can say, Will, is I'm glad we got that little 40-odd minute break to catch our breath and have a little bit of a reset, because I'm not so used to this fast and furious pace of Olympic distance racing. But I tell you what, I absolutely love it.
Well, to be the under-23 world champion, you're going to have to take on a bit of everything. A cove beach swim in the harbour, but out into the open water as well. 2 laps with an Aussie exit and then out onto the bike. There's an initial really tough little climb, a technical section, and then an out and back on the flat. They're going to do 7 laps of that bike and then 5 laps of the run. The initial lap is a little bit shorter, and then the loops up around Flagstaff Hill as well. So there's plenty of punchy little climbs, plenty of technical section. We've seen some athletes already fall afoul of just slight lapses in concentration, and this course designed to make sure that the complete athlete comes out on top. The water temperature staying steady at around 19 degrees. It's wetsuit optional. It says 24 km/h winds, but I believe it's a little bit worse than that.
Well, I think there's going to be gusts. That's where we're going to come into some problems. Gusts of up to around 44 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, so we want to throw everything at these athletes. So the one that comes out on top, as Ollie Conway did, an incredibly dominant performance in the men's, will be a worthy champion, Marta Kropko, who has multiple World Cup top 10s in 2025. Great swimmer, as her brother is. Look for her in the swim, and look for Sophia Howell as well. She led out of the water in 2024. Franca Rust, the German, we're going to see her in just a second, no doubt. 3rd in the Rome World Cup just 2 weeks ago. Manami Hayashi is the Asian champion. Zuzana Michalickova was 2nd last year as well. And then as we head down the list, Richelle Hill, obviously the Aussie hope. Brea Roderick, who was 14th in the under-23 Worlds in 2024. Meiko Hirozumi is here as well, the super sprint Japanese champ from this year. Tara Szysinski will be an interesting one for Australia, and hope to emulate Braden Mercer in coming in the top 12 for her country. As we head further down the list as well, Ilona Hadhoum is one to look out for there, the 29th. She hasn't raced that much internationally, which is why she's down the list. And speaking of down the list, number 41, the reigning world champion, Carolina Helga Horvath as well. She's been injured on and off this year, but she was a force to be reckoned with. Can she do it again in 2025? Beth Cook and Millie Brees are the highest numbers, and there are the athletes out on the left-hand side of your screen. That is Marta Kropko. She would have just watched her brother run to a very emotional silver medal, and now she needs to try and, I guess, She's going to have to do one better because that's her brother, so she has to do that anyway. We actually, by we, I mean Doug Gray, caught up with her and Richelle Hill as well just a minute ago.
Marta Kropko, we've seen you across a few formats over the years. How much does this under-23 World Champs mean, though?
Well, honestly, I really can't wait to race in my own age group or category, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to race here, and I'm really looking forward to know where I am in this field.
You've been in Oz for a few weeks, or certainly a few days, getting used to the temperature and so on. How has it been in here in Wollongong for you?
Yeah, we have come here with a few people, my brother and my training group, straight after Way High, and it was really nice to train here. It was really hot. Unfortunately, we have seen some snakes, which I wasn't really a fan of, but luckily, no other animals or sort of stuff's happening. We have really liked to train here. It was fun.
And a bit of inspiration from your brother who's just finished here with the silver?
I still get goosebumps about it. Honestly, he's crazy, especially because just a few days ago he finished taking antibiotics because he was so sick. So I was telling him, come on, bro, you gotta trust yourself. It doesn't gonna make a huge difference if you had taken out a few days. You gotta trust yourself. So I'm really happy that I was right, you know.
Great stuff. Enjoy out there.
Thank you so much.
Richelle, just give us a sense of what a home World Champs means to you.
I'm so grateful to be here. I mean, it's been a long season for me. I've faced injury like a lot of other athletes, so just to be here on the start line and be in top form, I'm so pumped.
So yeah, despite not having been able to race much this year, the form is good. You're feeling good?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, training suggests that, so let's hope I can execute it.
And we've just seen the men come through here. I mean, the bike was so fast, the swim was intense. You go out beyond the headland there and it gets choppy. There's so much to think about out there as well.
Yeah, it's definitely for a tough athlete, and I think I am a tough athlete, so let's hope I can execute it.
All right, great stuff. Go get him.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks a lot.
Two completely different,
wow.
I guess, emotional performances there. Marta Kropko, very relaxed. Richelle Hill, very intense. There's Franca Rust as well. As I said, third in the Rome World Cup. She's been in some kind of form.
She has, and of course, this is her very first under-23 World Championship. She was supposed to race last year, but unfortunately crashed only 6 days out from the event. So not only will this be her first, but it will also be her last.
Zuzana Michalickova, there she is, the under-23 Vice World Champion from 2024. Known as an excellent swimmer, but she actually came out of the water 41 seconds back and biked and rode her way into silver. So she's had a bit of a random season, experimenting with different types of events. And now she's back on an under-23 World Champ start line. And there is Maria Lopez Feraldo as well from Mexico.
And of course, she was 4th at Junior Pan Ams back in August, only 20 years of age. 30th at the Tizzy World Cup, 13th at Hutaluco earlier this year as well. And she's a winner of multiple America Cups races.
Yeah, one of the hopes from the Americas, but the champions from Asia and Oceania, and that's Richelle Hill, and all around the world are here to take on the might of the Europeans. It was interesting to hear Marta Kropko talking about, gee, it'll just be nice to race my own age group because, she's been racing WTCS racing and she's been getting better and better, 21st, then 18th, and then 13th in Way High. But she's racing the very best elites, and now she gets to come back and race against people who she's actually meant to be racing against.
Exactly, and it's an interesting dynamic because obviously a very close-knit family. She's just watched her younger brother come second. She's over the moon for him, but she needs to manage that excitement because she's got her own race right now that she needs to take care of. And so it would have been a really interesting thing to see what she was doing right after he crossed the finish line. And I know she had those headphones on trying to black it out till after her race is finished, I'd say.
Yeah, there she was just coming out. Sophia Howe follows her, and then Franca Rust, your top 3 seeds based on world ranking. That is Manami Hayashi as well, fresh off an Asia Cup win. In fact, she's definitely Asia's best hope. So 7-race Asia Cup winning streak. She hasn't been beaten in the Asia Cup in over a year. Zuzana Michalickova, there, as we said, just straight off a 5th in the European Champs in Istanbul, which is a great result in that field. She was only a minute behind Jolien Vermeulen on that one. Maria Lopez comes out, the under-23 America's champion, and Heidi Yurenkova, who just is fresh off a top 10 at the under-23 European champs in Malia. Barbara de Koning, who feels like she shouldn't be under-23 because she's been around for such a long time.
Well, she is racing the elites on Sunday as well, so she's another of those athletes that's going to be doubling it up.
I think there's 3 women. Oh, is it Marta, Zuzana Michalickova, and Barbara de Koning? And maybe more, I don't know. Who are
No,
also
I think there's only three women.
They're all racing yellow caps for the top 10, so we'll keep an eye on them. If it's anything like the under-23 men, if you watch that, even though it's a straight swim to the buoy, there seems to be many different ways that you can go.
It was quite interesting watching that men's race. We know, as we said, the wind has picked up from our men's race, so probably going to be a little choppier, particularly on the far end of the course.
11 and 12 there was Bria Roderick from New Zealand and Meiko Hirozumi of Japan. As the Silver Caps come out, that is the group from 11th to 20th.
From Belgium, 21.
It's really hard to race this late in the day for these athletes, which is not usual.
Not the
for
usual.
them.
No, we're at 4 p.m. here. Although in saying
in their
that,
bodies, they're probably
who knows where they are? Most of them have come all the way from Europe, where it's around a 9-hour time difference, 10-hour time difference.
That is in the red cap there, the Belgian Hassie Vlierackers, and I just want to say that name because it's so fun to say.
Because it's a cool name.
Really good. And Dominga Espinosa from Chile in her first year in under-23s. Nelly Decay from Belgium as well. And Chelsea Webber of the USA, fresh off a first America's Cup podium that she picked up in Salinas back in May, making her World Championships debut.
29 from France, Ilona Hadhoum.
There she is,
another girl
Ilona Hadhoum,
to look out for today.
2023, Junior World Champion. Naomi Ruff, winner of the Pan Am Games in August in Asuncion. As I have a terrible cramp in my leg from racing this morning. Oh my gosh.
It's all starting to catch up with you, Will.
Oh man. Oh, I'd say I'm all right. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. The Blue Caps, for those that are 30 and up in the numbers, Joy Gill, winner of the America's Cup in Magog in July, beaten to silver by 1 second in Santiago in April as well. Lila Britton, and the field very strong here. 46 athletes from all around the world, and all aiming for the 2025 Under-23 World Championship from 23 nations. There's 5 American athletes, 5 Canadian athletes, a couple from Australia, and then 6 nations, including France, actually have 1 only. So it's unusual for the French to only have 1 athlete, and that is Ilona Hadhoum. The French, in fact, have won this female Under-23 World Championship more than anyone else except for Great Britain and Germany. They all sit on 3 gold medals. The USA and Australia have 2. The Hungarians have picked up 1, and that was last year with Katrina Helga Horvath. Richelle Hill, the Oceania Under-23 and Elite champion in the yellow. And she will be at the far right as they head out now. Obviously, these athletes can pick where they want to line up. All the other yellow caps are on the far left end.
That's really interesting choice here by Richelle.
I think the far left end, and Ollie Conway said it best, he had the fastest swimmers around him, and it was the fastest way out, but Richelle Hill's decided to do something different. Don't know why. What's your thoughts there? She would have seen what happened in the Under-23 men's.
Especially because she knows that all of the stronger swimmers are over the other side of the start line. Maybe she just doesn't want it to be such a rough start.
Look at them. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Exactly.
5, 6, blank, 9.
So no one wants to be near them.
Yeah, so number 8 as well, who is Maria Lopez, also has decided not to be there. So I'll go 6 and then 9. And there's 7. So somewhere in the midst of all that is Maria Lopez as well. We've got about 30 seconds-ish to the start of this one. So they're being left on the start line for quite a long time. Same thing that happened in the men's race.
Athletes, you are
Here we go.
the starters.
1 race to determine the best under-23 triathlete in the world in 2025.
That seemed like forever.
Wow.
Forever.
It did. If it seemed like forever to us, I tell you, it seemed like longer for them as they were left to wait. And we saw a group of yellow caps, which were on the far right-hand side of your screen right now, take a commanding lead in the early parts of this one with the better swimmers. We'll see if that happens again this time, although it is an athlete in the middle of the pack who seems to have had a
Brilliant
especially good start. And then Richelle Hill, I think, is trying to come across now as quickly as possible to find some feet. There you go. 1, 2, and 6 are all having a good start. That's Kropko, Howell, and Michalickova are out front for the yellow caps, and we'll see if we can get a look at that silver cap number.
That's right.
I can't quite catch a number on that one, unfortunately.
But swimming very, very well early on here.
So just a reminder, this is a 2-lap, each lap 750 metres, Aussie exit swim. So they head out, they hit the break wall, and suddenly the water gets a lot more choppy for about 200 metres as they head around the pink buoys. And then they will head back in, Aussie exit, and do it all again. But
and look at this.
Look at that.
Wow, brilliant. You can see Richelle Hill coming across now, just as you mentioned, right out there, right at the front of this race, along with the likes of Marta Kropko.
She's
on the
taken
other
the
side.
long way, though, no?
She has.
Swum 8 to 10 metres further.
But I tell you, she's had a nice, clean start, whereas there was a little bit of, you know, bashing and thrashing on that left side. You can see that she's had a nice, clean run out so far.
That's true, but they're not giving each other a lot of room now,
They
though,
are not.
they?
That's right. And you look at the difference. Look at the waves. The bit of swell coming in. We didn't see that so much with the men's race. Definitely picked up for the women's race right now.
Beautiful shots we are getting from up above, and we have all of the cap colours represented there, which is outstanding. It looks like the front row of a Formula One grid with all the colours next to each other.
That's incredible.
Like the rainbow flag.
Exactly. But Richelle Hill still swimming very, very well right on the far right side. Her mother, Rena Bradshaw, back in the day, was also a spectacular swimmer. Very, very strong. One of the strongest in the world.
I think Bria Roderick's up there as well.
That's to be expected. Also another very strong swimmer.
And potentially Ilona Hadhoum as well, the French woman, had a fantastic swim in 2024, and she's down the list a little bit, so she'll have a different colour on. But all the, I guess, top-ranked athletes, with the exception perhaps of number 10 there, who's in the mix, Barbara de Koning, are basically out the front or have clear water ahead of them at least. They'll make the turns around these pink buoys that you can see on the left-hand side of your screen. But you can see how choppy it gets as soon as they get out past the break wall, which is about now. And then suddenly it's much rougher and more rougher than the men's.
Definitely rougher than what we saw earlier on today for the under-23 men's.
I still cannot get over the quality of that run by Ollie Conway about an hour ago. I actually went out to pick up my bike from the transition and ran into Ollie, and he looked fresh.
So he didn't look like you looked when you finished.
Look at me now. It's been like 6 hours since I finished. But he's such a lovely, quiet, well-spoken character. Thank you so much. Yes, I'm really happy. Whatever. Like, it's very British.
It's like you've just won the world championships.
I know. Like, fire up, son. All right, there is the puzzle that they have to get their way around. All they have to do is continue to turn left, and then they'll find their way back into the Wollongong Harbour and Cove Beach, where we'll start to get the splits, but it's a very different swim to what we saw in the men's. It's a lot more congested. Look at that washing machine that we're seeing now as those athletes kind of arrive at the buoy. It's never a good place to be.
Look at that. You've got some of those swimmers that are just dead still in the water right now. Oh, swimming over the top.
Someone's gone under there.
Yeah, that's
if that gets picked up by a technical or a race official, Michael Thompson is the swim director. I wonder whether that...
Very rough.
Well, I think someone cut the corner.
Oh.
Don't want to cast aspersions, but looked like they were on the wrong side. Anyway, we carry on.
And look at this here. I mean, these women now they're gonna miss it again. Look, they've just made that right-hand turn. Again,
look at that.
Trouble around that last turn can.
That's the swell pushing them in.
Yep.
And you can see that we've got to the point where we've got waves coming in the break wall now.
It's actually pushing them right up against those buoys. And
it's the same person every time too in the yellow cap. And I think
that was
that's
an underneath.
DeConning, and she's gone underneath this time. Well, I think that was DeConning because she's the yellow cap that's back in the field, but from that angle, as you can tell, and here's the replay, and we can see someone on the right-hand side potentially not make it around the buoy there.
It's sort of an underneath.
Yeah, but if you're underneath,
is it going round?
Underneath, and there's obviously a rope under there. Is that the marker?
I don't know.
Do you have to be on the right side of the rope?
This is where it gets a little tricky, where the rules get a little iffy.
Play on.
It'll be interesting to see at the end of the swim, but that was definitely far more difficult for our women to make their way around those turn cans than it was for our men.
Unfortunately, they're not going to get rewarded with a nice whitewater run in, because as soon as they get out past, like as you can see there, the water kind of builds up and has a little swell on the. As soon as they get on the breakwater, there's nothing. There's no waves.
It stops dead.
Yeah, there's nothing. So it just gives you a little push and then nothing, which is a bit sad because everybody, especially the back markers, would love a wave to catch.
But I think right now we are starting to see a little bit of a break there with our top 3 swimmers. Just a little bit of room. You can see that those feet are just starting to drop.
Watch the back boy here, the athlete in the yellow cap. 2 of them are fighting. One hits it, goes underneath and comes out, and the wave pushes her. Oh. She has missed that.
Yeah.
So at that exact moment, the swell pushed her. The athlete in the yellow cap has therefore missed the buoy, and we will see if that results in a penalty. Because, and to be fair, it's not necessarily 100% her fault, other than that she shouldn't have been so close. But then the swell came through and pushed her down, and she had to carry on. But if she could have turned back and had another go around, so we'll see what happens there. Great shots though from the drone, and. Out front, that is Marta Kropko in the yellow.
So doing exactly the same thing that her brother did not so long ago, only a couple of hours ago. Kropko family, what a force to be reckoned with.
I know. It just makes me feel like I've been swimming around in the shallow end of the gene pool. You know, when you've got these athletes who are just continually excellent. And then, so we see there's an athlete, what number is that on the blue cap? 39?
Having a great swim.
If it's 39, it's Brittany Brown of the USA in her first year at under 23 level. And I want to say that is 39. And then behind her in the red cap, we need to put the numbers on the front too. Maybe Naomi Ruff, number 30. Anyway, the point is that Marta Kropko, who is your number 1, is out front, and there's not another athlete from the top 10 ranked athletes for a good 10 to 12 metres behind her.
Actually, very interesting that you say that. You're correct.
Thank you so much.
Nice pickup.
Well, you know, because these are the athletes that are going to contend on the bike, so Marta Kropko would not be too unhappy with that when she makes the turn at the Aussie exit and sees where her main rivals are. And around her is other athletes who are lower ranked, which is why the caps are at a different colour. And then you can see a yellow capped athlete in the top right-hand side of your screen. The Kropko is out front. She looks behind it. No, is that Richelle Hill? Is that a 7 or a 1?
It's so hard to tell. It could be.
It might be a 7. No, it's a 1.
Yep, it's 1.
No, it is Marta Kropko.
Yep, it's Marta Kropko.
And that's 39, so we were right about that one as well. And we'll get the splits in just a second. Kropko, Brittany Brown, Naomi Ruff. I nailed it, 3 from 3. Tara Zazinski, the Australian, in 4th position.
Great swim.
And then Ilona Hadhoum, the French woman. Isla Britton and Kira Gupta-Balthazar, the Canadian pairing. Robin Dreisling, Millie Brees, and Richelle Hill is 11 seconds back, the Australian. Wow. And then the world champion, Carolina Helga Horvath, is in 11th position, 11 seconds in arrears. And there you can see on the left-hand side of your screen all of the splits as they come in. DeConning is the yellow-capped athlete that's a little bit further back. She's 16 seconds in arrears. Then the Italian pairing of Prestia and Sacchi. And as we head through all of the names, and let's going to be a long day for the athletes that have missed the group.
Interesting to see Sophia Howell already 14 seconds back from the lead. I expected her to be a little closer to the front than that. So, again, you know, a lot of the athletes, this is quite rough. Different sort of
Michalickova, 29 seconds back. We missed that one.
And another, again, way further back than we anticipated.
Well, she was 41 seconds back in the swim last year and came second. She's got a great swim, and this isn't one of those at the moment, or the pace is just very, very hot at the front. The Slovakian athlete who, and not only did she finish in silver, it was a sprint finish.
That's right.
And, you know, she was
4 seconds in it, I think.
Yeah, not far away. Not far away whatsoever. But Kropko at the front, as we've been saying all day, alongside her, Brittany Brown, the American. Then Naomi Ruff, Tara Sosinski, Ilona Hadhoum are your top 5. Further back down, Richelle Hill, the Oceania champion, 10th. Carolina Helga Horvath, 11th. Bethany Cook, the British athlete, she's in 13th position, 13 seconds back. And you're right, Sophia Howell, who is your number 2 ranked athlete out there at the moment, led out of the water last year, swam under 20 minutes. 19:53, and she's 14 seconds back, so she's not having the same swim that she had in Torremolinos. That swim turned into a nice little bike breakaway with Caroline Denizeau on the bike. But that's not the way things are working out this time.
Great, great to see Tara Sosinski right up the pointy end right now. We know she's coming.
Tell us about her. You know about her.
Yeah, well, she's coming into this race in some really good form. We know that she's a very strong swimmer. She's coached by her brother Jack, and Jack Sosinski, who obviously started in short course, but now has moved across into the middle distance a little bit now as well. So he's doing a really great job with his sister. But I know that they had a bit of a test event in Rabina only a few weeks ago, and she had a really solid race. I think she had a really good tussle with Richelle Hill in that particular race, and with Richelle just getting the better of her in the final 500 metres of the run. So Tara really strong across swim, bike, run. I'm really keen to see how she can go today.
Obviously, there's tons of Aussie fans down here, and they would all like to see the green and golds on a step of the podium. Australians have won this race once before, twice before. And obviously, they bring some extra pressure being here at home. And we've talked about that in terms of, like, you know, Tara's a classic example. So she hasn't raced much against athletes of this caliber and you know, wearing the colours of their country, etc., etc. So it's just a mental game for any Australian athlete who is welcoming these incredible superstars to their shores. They're still doing the same swim, bikes and runs in the same kind of conditions that they're used to doing, but they're doing it with so much more on the line at such a young age.
And it can also be quite daunting when you haven't had that international experience. There's nothing quite going overseas, out of your comfort zone, out of your routine, eating foods, living in a place that you're not used to, and getting used to racing against the best of the best. And when you've spent a lot of time, I'd like to say sheltered a little bit when you're in Australia or Asiana, it can be quite daunting. And I think the only thing against Tara right now is that lack of international racing experience, and just mentally letting it get to her. If she can stay strong, I think she's got what it takes physically to do very, very well today. It's just, does she have the head on her shoulders to be able to cope with the stresses of today?
At the moment, she's swimming alongside someone like Ilona
Absolutely.
Hadhoum,
she's proving me completely wrong, which I always love.
Well, when you look at Hadhoum, for example, like, she's down on the international rankings because I think she did one WTCS race and was down the bottom, and then she finished 9th in Chengdu. But if you look at her French Grand Prix form, you know, she's mixing it with John Lahair and Georgia Taylor-Brown and these athletes who do regular French Grand Prix. So she knows that she's got what it takes to compete at that level, which is different to someone who hasn't had those opportunities, or who races down in Australia, who may have the same skill set but isn't used to or hasn't drawn the confidence from racing against the very best in the world. As they make it around the top boys well this time, And it just looks so chill when you look at it from this angle.
Exactly.
Very calm and relaxed.
People are probably watching and saying it's not rough out there. That's not rough, but I've been down on ground and it is definitely quite swelly. And around those, I think they'll be very happy, all of them, to get round the last of those pink turn buoys to make their way back in.
This is just the second in a long string of races that we're going to be bringing to you over the next 4 days or 3.5 days or so. Tomorrow, the Junior World Championship titles will be decided, and there are some really exciting athletes in those, and I'm especially looking forward to watching another chapter in the battle between Amber Grasset of France and Fanny Zalai of Hungary. And can she continue the form that the Hungarians have brought so far to this one? And speaking of that, Sunday afternoon, Csongor Lehmann, the Hungarian, will be looking for another good result in a string of good ones, while Matt Hauser tries to win the world title for Australia in Australia. The first Australian world title in 20 years it would be. Just needs to finish third or better. And then in the women's, how long has it been since we've had two athletes on the exact same number of points that Beth Potter and Cassandra Beaugrand are? And it's the third iteration in their three-chapter saga of who's going to win the grand final and therefore the world championship.
It sets it up so perfectly for that showdown. I think everyone is waiting in anticipation for that showdown between Beth Potter and Cassandra Beaugrand. I know I am. Both superb athletes, and both coming into this race in really good form. I know that Beth is probably running the best that she's ever run before. There's no injury, there's no sickness. The same can be said for Cassandra too. So it's always great when we get these two women at their best with no issues to talk about, both eager to win that world title.
Okay, I've got a little bit of an update as Brown and Kropko have a little boxing match on the way in to the beach. We talked about the potential for a penalty, and here is the replay as athletes got pushed by this swell just inside the buoy, and you can see that there. The decision has been made, and I can tell you that the decision is that there will be no penalty because the race officials have determined that it was caused by the conditions.
Conditions, yeah.
And not by choice made by the athletes. So we are free and clear and racing.
Great.
Which is good to hear. We never want to see that. And a fantastic swim by Brown has kept her alongside Kropko for the duration of this second lap. And now the yellow caps are starting to move further back up into position around Kropko. But as we've seen before, there's athletes that are a little further down that will still play a big part in this one, just by virtue of some athletes have been doing a little different types of racing or making different decisions because it's the first year after an Olympic year before they get back into their Olympic cycle. So maybe there's some athletes further down the field in terms of numbers and cap colours that are still real threats, and they'll be the ones up the front right now. Only 18 minutes gone, and when we look back at the swim from last year, it was 19:53 was the time out of the water. Be surprised if they go under that because of the conditions today, but stranger things have happened. It's hard to tell how far away they are from the beach right now.
See that swell still actually giving them just an ever so small amount of help. Their little tiny push.
Yeah.
I mean, they'll take any. I'm sure these women will take anything right now, but they are
Here we are. We're
very,
right here.
very close.
All right.
Wow.
That's interesting too. Kropko and Brown didn't really help each other out there. If one of them had sat in behind the other one, maybe they would have been able to string the field out a little bit more. You get sucked back a little bit when there's two swimmers shoulder to shoulder or hip to hip, or one of them sitting on the other's hip. But there you go. Kropko, Brown. Howell's had a great second half of the swim. She was 14 seconds back before. She's moved up to 3 seconds in arrears.
Incredible.
Naomi Ruff as well. Hadhoum and Szynski, well, they were 4th and 5th before, but Howell and Ruff have moved themselves up. Levi, McDowell, Richelle Hill has moved from 10th to 9th. Breeze, Prestia, Britton, Dreisling. DeConning has gone back to 16th, but she's narrowed the gap a little bit as well. She was 16 seconds back. Look out for Zuzana Michalickova, how far she was back as well. She was 31 seconds back at the 750-metre mark.
That's incredible. Look at that. Sophia Howell is going to be first out onto the bike. I thought she was gone.
Transition.
I thought she was gone after that first lap. 14, 15 seconds down, and now she exits transition in first place.
Franca Russ, 23 seconds back. One of our pre-race favourites as well. Still haven't seen Michalickova come through there. She is 30 seconds back, so she's held strong. You can see her there in the blue of the Slovakian kit. But Howell will take a lot of confidence out of that second half of the swim and the transition, and now she's out on the bike, and there's a group of 3 chased by another group of about 5 to 6 athletes. And going from that swim up the steps into transition and straight into a hill is not fun.
No, right now their lungs will be burning. See these 2 behind just trying desperately to attach themselves to that front 3. You can see a nice group about to form here.
Three in the front. I think that's Kropko, Brown and Naomi Ruff. No, sorry. We have to put Howell in there as well. I'll say that's Kropko, Brown and Howell, who's had a great one. And then there's a group of 6 athletes and then the next group of 3. And then someone all by their lonesome making the turn and heading up the hill. All right, a refresher then on the bike, mate. You can see them on the hill there, Flagstaff Hill. Then they're going to go down Marine Drive through a technical section of lefts and rights and punchy little climbs, and then a long grinding climb onto the open road section where they make the northern turn and then back down the hill into transition very fast. They'll do that 7 times before they head out onto the run, again around Flagstaff Hill, along Marine Drive, make the turn next to the stadium there, and then eventually into the finish. We've done the 1.5, we've got the 40 and the 10 to go. And let's look back at how the swim played out. It was a lot different, Belinda, in terms of how the men's played out. They were very split apart, but this time they were the complete opposite and all swimming all over the top of each other.
And it was so rough around those turn cans. One, because they were all together, but also because of the change in conditions with that swell really playing a part, making it difficult for them to get around those turn cans. But as expected, it was Marta Kropko leading the way into the second lap, where she remained for the rest of the swim.
These two just stuck together. I just
would
have think that one of them would go, okay, you tuck,
but
I'll
look
go.
at here, actually hitting each other, not purposely, but it's like just one of you swim behind.
Yeah, but you know what? I love a close race, so let's do
I.
that.
So do I.
Let's do that. And that for the second time today, it's a Kropko first out of the water. And this time Marta, who has had to see her brother win silver and then refocus and put the pressure on herself. Kropko and Howell come out 1 and 2. Sosinski comes out 3. Levi's had a great second half of the swim as well. And we are out onto the bike, and it looks like the group has come together, if this is indeed the lead group. But athletes who made up a lot of time in that transition include Martina McDowell, Sophia Howell, 12 places she made up in transition.
Wow.
Aviv Levi made up 14 places, and Heidi Durankova 13 places. On the other flip side of the coin, Isla Britton dropped 6. Kira Gupta Balthazar dropped 12 places. Beth Cook had a slow transition as well. She dropped 5 places to 18th. And I was wrong, there are still these 3 athletes out the front. And Sophia Howell's one of them in the red, and there is Sito of Japan, who is going to have a pretty lonely first lap until she can latch on to someone who is on their second lap, potentially.
You can see the group coming around the corner right now. So these 3 women doing a really good job so far, holding off a big chase group coming for them from behind.
Well, as we saw in the men's race, if there is a big chase group and the athletes tend to take their foot off the gas a little bit, and potentially a group of 3 can stay away. If it was a chase group of 8 or 6, you know, they'd be more motivated potentially. But look at the size of that group.
It's a big group.
Yeah, and they're trying to make their way through the climb and 90-degree turn section of the course. And you can see there's one athlete off the front, German athlete. I think. No, Dutch athlete.
That's a Dutch athlete there, yep.
Where it's all going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell by how slowly they're going, but this is a difficult, long, grinding hill that they're dealing with, and that one then eventually heads down onto Kembla Street and kind of sweeps down and left onto George Hanley Drive and the roundabout, and then they're on the open road, and they'll go hit a turnaround, and everyone will be able to see where everyone else is at in the first lap of 7 on this bike.
This is a really big group. heading out on the first of 7 laps here today in Wollongong.
Beautiful part of the world to be. It was funny listening to Marta Kropko earlier when she's like, well, you know, we did see a snake, you know, and I'm like, we don't have that many dangerous animals here.
Well, you know, I mean, it's funny.
Relatively,
we take it for granted now, but it's not until you get some of the European athletes. I know we had Beth Potter, Kate Woff and Sian Rainsley all staying in Noosa, and they had a situation where they ran over a snake at one stage, and another situation where a snake actually came out on the road and caused Beth to brake so sharply that they had to click out, and I think Kate Woff had to end up doing the walk of shame up the rest of the climb because she'd clicked out and couldn't get back in. And she's like, how many snakes do you have over here? And a lot of the Europeans are a bit nervous. I know Cassandra Beaugrand. Well, we just take it for granted now. But Cassandra Beaugrand's scared of sharks and spiders.
I too am scared of sharks.
Magpies and...
Yep, that's true. Yeah, anyone who follows Matt Hauser on Instagram would have seen he got attacked by a magpie just a few days ago. He didn't seem to worry about it. But, you know, my mum got bitten by a brown snake and didn't do anything about it for 4 days. So didn't go to hospital or anything.
I've been telling the Europeans if they don't do anything, they might
Well, yeah,
die.
I mean, she wasn't in good shape
I know,
by the
I was
end of
going
that.
to say, gee.
There you go. There's the splits. And it is Kropko, Howell and Levi, the Israeli athlete, who has managed to latch onto this group. And now it's 16 seconds back to the chasing pack. You know, speaking of snakes and spiders and, you know, Wollongong is a wild and wonderful place. But like...
It is.
It is. It's not all fangs and poison. There are some cuddly ones as well.
There are. Well, we've got koalas and kangaroos.
Kangaroos, koalas, quokkas, and world champions. Wollongong's wild side is waiting. Make your World Championship trip a race staycation to remember.
It is a beautiful part of the world, as you can see from that shot right there. There's the Sea Cliff Bridge, one of the, and some of the many beautiful ocean pools we have here. It truly is a training paradise. There's great weather down here and so much open space everywhere. Plenty of hills too, as you can see in the background. If you like that kind of thing, that'll be me though. I'll be there.
At the festival?
Yeah, 100%.
You're a festival boy.
No, I've quit triathlon now. I can't do any more after
Done
today.
your last race, that's it.
I say that after every race, but look, a beautiful place to swim down there, as you can tell, and it is a truly, it's a hub for multi-sport, as we know. As you mentioned before, Wollongong Wizards down here for a long time, and plenty of athletes who we still talk about to this day, who are still very competitive, or part of groups like that growing up here in the Wollongong area, and have travelled from all over Australia to train down here. There's your group of 3 who are about to end their first lap. So they're coming down what is a much steeper hill than what it looks like right there. And it is Kropko, Howell and Aviv Levi. The 3 of them, and Kropko working off the front, Howell sitting in behind, having done so much work in the second half of that swim to put herself where she is, the Canadian.
Brilliant. Honestly, I did not think that we would be seeing her up the front end of this race after that first lap of the swim, but hats off. Really great second lap and riding very, very well now. These 3 women are really starting to put a bit of a gap between themselves and that group behind. It's a huge group behind.
It was 17 though, and it's gone down to 13. So
much more manageable.
Working a little bit.
And it'll be interesting to see, Will, and you know, I expect us to lose a few more from that group as well. And once they start, you know, it always takes a little bit of time for a group of that size to get themselves sorted, to get themselves organised. Whereas these women are organised from the get-go, and you can see that they are swapping off turns beautifully right now as they make their way up towards the lighthouse.
There's 23 athletes in that second group.
Wow.
And then 20 seconds back to Beth Cook and the group that's with her, which is Viziguero and Moya Chamorro, and then another 17 seconds back to Michalickova, who's lost time, the vice world champion from last year. She was 30 seconds down out of the water. She's 52 seconds down now after the end of the opening lap on the bike. And speaking of having, like, the race of their life, Aviv Levi, right? So you look at Marta Kropko and Sophia Howe, they are the top two seeds, and you do expect them to be there because especially Kropko as a sort of a swim bike specialist. Aviv Levi comes in off DNFing the Euro champs, the European champs, came back and did Rome World Cup like some athletes have done, came 32nd, and then in the Mediterranean champs earlier on in Taranto, she finished 10th. So she hasn't got like she hasn't had an insane year of results.
No.
But at the moment, she's sitting in the top 3 in the Under-23 World Championships with 2 really strong bike athletes and the possibility to stay away. So she'll be hoping that she can contribute to a bike breakaway that sticks.
And this is what I love about World Champs. We can have all the stats on paper, Will. We can do our research and we can anticipate.
Yeah, but then we get made to look like idiots, don't we?
but there's literally always one in every race that will come out from somewhere and will have the absolute race of their lives.
And like I said, that is why I have done notes on every single athlete.
Just in case.
You just don't know.
Just in case.
Who it's going to be, who's going to pop their head out and have a great one. The Italians did incredibly well in the men's race. And then, obviously, we've got an incredibly strong Israeli athlete having a serious race. But then if you look back to that chasing pack as well, you've got athletes who are, I guess, above their station in terms of world ranking. You've got athletes like Isla Britton, who is number 32 in the world ranks of people that are here. Paolo Sacchi, the Italian, Naomi Ruff and Brittany Brown, who are right up there in the swim, are part of that group as well. Rebecca Betty, the Swiss athlete as well. And Tara Szynski, unfortunately, she nearly made that front 3.
Yeah, just missed out.
Quite. Now she's sitting back in the back of that pack and biding her time.
But great that we've got both Australians in this chase group. Richelle Hill, I mentioned earlier that she is the daughter of Rena Hill, who was a phenomenal athlete back in the day.
She went to Athens?
2004 Olympics, that's correct. So, yeah, very accomplished athlete in her own right. But we know that this year for Richelle, it's been a bit of an up and down year. Spent a good chunk of the year, I think back in late March, was diagnosed with a sacral stress fracture, so that put a damper on things for quite a few months. And hence why she didn't head overseas, staying back here to try and get that injury under control. But she is back with a vengeance now. We know she's coming into this race with no injuries to talk of, in very good form. And she was so cool and calm in that interview.
Is that Levi right there, the Israeli? She dropped back to that chasing pack?
Well, it looks like.
Or has everyone? There's Kropko as well.
Yep,
all of them have.
They have now been caught, so
13 seconds has just evaporated in the course of about 2 kilometres.
Wow.
And they have come back to the group. I don't know whether that's a decision that they just, without speaking about it, they thought this is going to be too much work for us, or whether the chase group is a little more organised than what we thought. But now it's Franca Rust who's driving things at the front. And it's around this time of the race that we started seeing our first athletes get a taste of the tarmac. The first one was Theo Marti in the Under-23 men's, and then later on Mathis Boldew had a pretty serious accident as well. But I do hear, Belinda, that they're both okay for those people that are listening or watching at home.
Always a relief. I mean, we know crashes are part and parcel of this style of racing, but what we don't like is when athletes that come down end up in hospital. We were a bit concerned because we know that there were ambulances out there, but they were just playing it safe. But good to hear that all of the athletes that hit the deck today are, apart from being a little battered and bruised and obviously disappointed, they're going to be okay.
Great shot there of Wollongong Surf Club at the bottom there, and we're just waiting for the athletes to join us on this nice shot. We can hear them. We can hear the cheering.
They're there somewhere.
We can hear the cheering.
But isn't it? This is such an iconic building, though. The surf lifesaving clubs in Australia, iconic to every single beach city around Australia.
And they don't change. They just never change. They look exactly the same as they did in the 40s when they were built.
I love it. We've had a few, obviously, up Noosa Way where they've fancied them up when they've got architects in to change them, and they do. They look wonderful, but. I have a real soft spot for the ones that haven't changed, like this on screen right now. They are iconic to Australia.
All right, the splits continue, and it's one big group together, and that is the Seacliff Bridge. Speaking of iconic, there's some incredible shots here of Wollongong. It just makes it look so nice down here. I don't know why I don't spend more time down here.
Well,
I did the Wollongong Triathlon. I've done that a few times down here. It's basically nearly exactly the same course as what it is now. It didn't give me one bit of advantage today. Nothing. But now a huge group of what I want to say is going to be 26 athletes strong.
Incredible.
There we go. Is it 26? I think it is. Absolutely.
Wow,
Look,
that is a huge group.
Yeah, I'm nailing this today.
You are? I know.
I am, yeah. I keep only saying things that I 100% know are true, which is not like my usual commentary style.
Don't use up all your guesswork on day one, please. We have several days left.
I know we do. It's a real marathon.
And I'm depending on you.
It's a marathon. It's short course racing, but it's T100 marathon level commentary as the under-23 women now settle into a pack in the second of 7 laps. And I just really wonder how or what the main contenders are thinking now. They're all in this group with the exception of Michalickova, who is dropped off the back and is in the chase pack. But now the urgency, as you can tell from the way they're spread across the road, has come out of it.
Yep, they've really slowed down. They're going to have to... We need to have a group of women now that are prepared to just put themselves in the hurt locker for a lap or two to try and get away. This group is too big. You know, you've got some of these women on the back that'll end up soft pedaling, I think.
I don't have enough anecdotes to get us through 6 laps or 5.5 laps of this.
No, surely. Look, and this is the thing. There's 2 trains of thought with a World Championship. Play it safe and just do what you know best, or take a risk. And I know...
I think die trying. That's
yeah,
my vibe.
I mean, that's the way I always used to race. I didn't like to play it safe, but it's a tough one because it is the World Championship, and for a lot of these women, it's the last race of the season. And you often don't want that last race of the season to end up blowing up in your face, and sometimes taking risks, more often than not, end up in the blow-ups. Every now and again you pull it off, but then I also have the train of thought, well, they're so young. This is when they should be taking risks. This is when they should be learning lessons when they race.
Yeah.
It's their opportunity to do it.
There's too much on the line, though. No.
I don't know. Exactly. It's a World Championship. I don't know.
You've been to a casino and you win $5, and then you double up as $10, and then you double up again as $20, and then you realise where your limit lies. And you're like, no, I'm taking that.
Yep,
it could be $2,000 for you. I don't know.
I'm cashing out right now.
But it's a bit the same like this. Are we going to gamble with this much on the line? What is our level, right? If this was like a World Cup, or if it was a European Cup, or it was an Asian Cup, or it was another race, maybe. Or, but
it's
maybe
the
not
World
now.
Championship, and I'm
yeah,
sure.
But win big, you know. Big bets repay debts, Linda.
Yeah.
Right, let's go. Right, if you're gonna, you may as well. I guess it depends on your run.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, the runners in the field are probably thinking, well, I'm not going to make any decision right now. I'm just going to wait and see how this pans out. But for our swim bike experts here, they need to start asking themselves the question, and I'm sure that they're all thinking about it right now. And the problem with that, Will, is that's when mistakes are made in the group. That's when the group starts to get a little twitchy as well. And we saw what happened in the men's race with a couple of crashes there. I don't want to see that.
That was a group of 12 too, not a group of 26.
I don't want to see that in the race here with the women. So
no, we don't want to see one of these races where everyone's looking at each other for the whole entire bike, but we shall see. There's plenty of places to do it, and I think that's the best part about this course, is that it's a real testing course, and there's plenty of places where you could really get on the gas quickly. And I wonder if there's any chat in there between the swim bikers to say, just look over your shoulder and say, how about you and me, let's go. Get that person, leave them here. We don't want them, they can run.
I mean, and isn't this what short course racing is all about?
Tactics.
Tactics. It's not long course racing where you get down on the aero bars and you just look at your Garmin and stay in the aero position for hours on end. It's tactics for every second that they're out there, and being able to make decisions on the fly. And I would love nothing more for a handful of these really strong bikers, and there are so many strong bikers in this field, to just give each other the nod and just go for it. But you're right, it needs to be at a specific place on the course
You want to make sure you get your nod right. Like if you're there and you're like, I'm not a very good swim biker, and then someone, did she nod at me or did she nod behind me? Was that me? Should I go?
Am I meant to do this?
Yeah, you remember when you wave and you wave back to someone who's waving at you and you realise they're waving at someone
They're not
behind
waving at you at all.
Yeah, and you
Never had anything to do with you.
Then you pretend to just kind of like do your hair or whatever to cover it up, that kind of thing.
But, you know, we saw it with Kropko when he made that very precise move on the hill to drop.
Yeah, and he did exactly that thing on Flagstaff Hill.
It worked beautifully.
On the third lap of the run, and then Ewan De Negro did not have a response to that.
No.
And Kropko, I think, is going to be one of those guys who races in the elites on Sunday. It all builds to this, the Elite World Championships, the culmination of the World Triathlon Championship Series, and it is going to be one not to miss.
She beat me before, I beat her last year, but it will just come at one day, one race, and I think I prove I can do it as well at the Olympics.
I'm not thinking about anyone else, you know, it's my race, and I just have to focus on the bits that I can do well, and I'm confident getting the best out of myself on the day.
I think I will try to take it same as a normal race, like fight for the best position as possible.
Feeling very confident and really looking forward to it.
My swim for the first time is very good. It's my day.
I know from experience everyone's approaching this race differently. I'm going into this race confident and I'm going in to push it from the start.
It's definitely a race you want to perform. And if I can fight for the podium on the race, that's the goal.
I'm still learning and still developing, and after becoming fourth last year, it would be great to finish on the podium this year.
What an array of elite women's contenders, and I was just, as that was playing and I was seeing all of those contenders line up and knowing how wide open this race is, I was looking at the championship status. So Cassandra Beaugrand and Beth Potter obviously on the same number of points. If they win the title. They're the only two athletes who have their, I guess, their destiny in their own hands, I suppose, and we've seen it flip-flop. 2023 Beth, 2024 Cassandra. Jean Lahair, who's having some kind of season as well, the Super Tri champion, has to win, but then has to have someone else come in second who isn't Cassandra or Beth. And then it gets harder. Lisa Tersch has to win with Cassandra or Beth finishing fifth or lower, and Lahair finishing in second or lower, which she would if Tersch wins. And then get your maths books out for Leonie Perriot, because it gets even harder for her.
Again.
And there's some athletes that aren't here. I mean, Gwen Jorgensen not here, Tilda Manson, Nina Ime, Maya Kingma, Verena Steinhauser, but the players are here.
They are.
And that is going to be fun to watch, really fun to watch. And then the men's as well at 5 p.m, which is a little later in the day than usual. It's going to be an interesting one for this one, and Matt Hauser just needs to finish in the top 3. A podium gets him a world title, but all of the pressure is on Matt Hauser. Every single person in Wollongong and surrounds knows about what he has to do on that day, and now he has to execute. And that is going to be a really interesting one as the athletes at the front after 15 kilometres of the 40 taking their turns at the front. Sophia Howell's dropped back into the middle of the pack, as has Marta Kropko. And instead we have Meiko Hirozumi, the Japan Super Sprint champ, out the front at the moment. The Japanese athlete with Betty's first name escapes me. Rebecca. I should know that's my wife's name. What am I thinking? Out the front as well. And she's leading actually up the hill as well. So she's driving the pack forward and enjoying some time at the front of the bike. And as I said, later in the day on Sunday, it's going to be the men's race, and all eyes will be on Matt Hauser, and his eyes will be on Miguel Hidalgo. Let's have a look at the highlights from the men's race earlier today. And Martin Kropko first into the water. number one, and he was first out of it as well. Minus his swim cap, actually, which did confuse us for a second.
It definitely confused me.
There he is on the right-hand side. No swim cap. Beautiful stroke, though. Just a nice, languid, easy stroke, slicing through the water as he does, and as his sister does as well. There he is. João Batista was behind him. That was pretty much the last time we'd see him until right in the end of the race when he ran his way back to 7th overall. Kropko came out of the water first, Batista second, and Ollie Conway, importantly, the 3rd seed, would turn up right next to Kropko. There he is.
Wow.
Mitch Kolkman, closest to us as well. Batista got a little bit confused, couldn't get his wetsuit off. That's why he didn't make the bike thing, which we did not see at the time.
Bad transition, we didn't see it. We missed it. Too much else going on, but...
Missed the breakaway.
Isn't that crazy? That one mishap really turned his race up on end.
That's Theo Marti from Luxembourg, who touched a tyre and went down. Rory Thornhill was pushing that chase pack as much as possible, but they would lose as much as 2 minutes and 4 seconds on the lead group of 12 athletes that went down to 9 athletes. And right there, Mathis Beaulieu looked behind him, then looked back in front, and someone had cut in front of him, got on the brakes too hard and went straight over the handlebars. He is okay. Super fast over the dismount line. And they came in what was a group of 9 in the end, and Conway just said, I'm going to go win this thing now, and ran away from everyone at an incredible pace. In the end, he ran a sub 30-minute 10K in this heat over these hills in the wind with no one around him, and he didn't drop off one bit. So the splits you're seeing on the side of the screen right now are currently for the women's races. Richelle Hill has stolen a march on the competitors, but we'll keep seeing the rest of this. That was when Kropko dropped Ewan De Negro on the hill, and Ollie Conway had a minute and a half behind him and crossed the line as the new under-23 world champion on debut in this race. Turned around, no one else there. What a year that guy has had. And speaking of what a year, the Oceania senior and under-23 champion Richelle Hill, who we spoke to earlier, has decided that she's had enough and no one's going with her.
Unusual. I mean, she must have taken them all by surprise, obviously, but I'm still shocked that no one used this opportunity, particularly at this section, because it's a great place for Richelle to go. But to do it solo, she really...
Someone's crossing over.
Good. This is what we want to see, because let's be honest, she's not going to be able to do it on her own. She needs some help up front.
I hope it's Hassie Fleerackers, because then we get to say her name lots of times. I'm just a simple man. A simple man who wants to enjoy what is his job, you know?
Well, you know what? We keep getting these breakaways. They make our job so much more enjoyable.
All right, we've got a couple of DNFs, unfortunately. 35, I'm hearing, is a DNF. That is Kira Gupta-Balthazar. She actually had a difficult transition. She dropped tons of spots, so I don't know whether there was an issue there, but she hasn't made it through the 4th lap of this bike. And another DNF is Marcela Alvarez Solis of Mexico. She finished 33rd last year in this event. In Torremolinos, she is not going to make it to the end of this one. But other than that, everyone else is in it. And I'll give you some updates on the splits as they stand as well, just in case your athlete is not one that we've been mentioning. Just looking back through the major athletes at the moment. Our group at the front is 26 strong. In fact, now 25 strong, I think. Yes, no, 26 strong with Vanessa Posberg at the back. Zuzana Michalickova is in the lead of the chase group, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 athletes in it. The Slovakian vice world champion from last year is a minute and 35 seconds back in her group, and then there's another big gap of about 40 seconds back to the last group, which includes Julia Brocker, the German, who we haven't actually talked about too much.
No.
But she was coming in with some proper form. She was 13th in the Rome World Cup, 26th in the French Riviera. She has been sick recently, the athlete from Leipzig. Actually was sick before Carla Vivari, so that's a little while ago now. But she will not be happy with her current 35th position, 2 minutes and 13 seconds in arrears. And that little breakaway has kind of woken up the front pack.
Absolutely it has. So while I don't think it's going to stick, it's almost like Richelle's said, I don't want to ride it. 30 kilometres an hour sitting in the bunch doing nothing, and so she's really pushing the pace now, making those women chase her down, and that pace has really gone up in the last half a lap.
Yeah, and meanwhile, another athlete who we haven't mentioned who's back in that chase pack with Zuzana Michalickova is the world champion, Carolina Hilda, who is number 41 in this race because she has been dealing with injury and plenty of issues of her own in 2025, and that's probably reflected in her current race standing.
Exactly. I mean, she hasn't raced all year, and you know as well as I do, you can do all the training in the world, all the preparation, but it is, you know, race tactics, race dynamics, getting that race experience, it makes such a difference. And we're seeing that right now with our reigning world champion.
We are indeed, as this big group continues. And look, I'm doing my best to make it exciting, but now they've gone back to just grinding up the hill in a little group, but still at the front. Again, it's the Japanese athlete still who is enjoying a good amount of screen time at the front while she can. But again, as soon as you see those athletes sort of like 4 or 5 wide, you know that again it's
slowed right down.
It's slowed down. So that little push from Richelle Hill got herself 5 or 6 seconds around that exact spot, actually, around Flagstaff Hill, and then they've come back together again. But a little tester halfway through the bike here, and 50 minutes into this one to see who would come with her, or if they could make it stick, or just to show everyone that she's feeling strong.
But you often see, if we can get some different women doing that every lap, eventually it will stick. And if it doesn't, at least you're going to get a few of the excess baggage, we like to call them, the ones on the back doing nothing.
Ouch.
It gets rid of them because it just starts to get a little bit too tough sitting on the back with those gaps start to form. But if it doesn't, Will, we are going to be left with the situation coming into transition where we have a huge group, and it will be a running race.
It will be a running race, and then if it is a running race, there are a few athletes who we'd put our money behind, and one of them has just popped up on screen there, Franca Rust. She's a great runner, 3rd at the European Sprint Champs in Melilla. She actually finished there behind Jolene Vermeulen, and now we've got stealth mode, now it's gone, and Bianca Seregni. So 2 great elite athletes as well. But it's pretty wide open on the run, to be honest.
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of good runners in this field. Marta Kropko would be one who would continue to back herself. Tara Zazinski would be in with a good shot too. She's sitting in this group, 18th or 17th wheel at the moment.
Even Richelle Hill, we know that she's in great running form as well. Hasn't had the race experience or race practice this year that I think she would have liked because of that injury. But what she's lacking there, I can see by that interview that we had with her earlier on, that she is highly motivated. And
I was a little scared when
I was a little bit scared too. Yeah, I was too.
Marta was happy as Larry and giggling, and she was like, "I am here to win."
It was all business.
Good for her, you know. Like everyone
Absolutely.
approaches their races a little bit differently. I definitely have better times in any sport when I'm taking it like super lightly and relaxed. But on the days that I want to listen to Eminem and get real angry, things always go wrong. But everyone does it differently. What was your go-to pre-race song?
Oh, I don't know if I had one.
Show your age
they didn't have earpods back when I was racing. They don't exist yet.
Or just whatever was on the record player.
But I was very chatty before a race. I know some people like to go within themselves, or they move away from crowds or people. I was the exact opposite, and I was always highly motivated on a start line. So it was all about keeping me a little bit cool, calm, and collected. I got a little bit too hyped up at times. So
that doesn't sound like you at all.
No, it doesn't at all, does it?
I think that's Akumi Sito on the front. That was the athlete who came out of the water and is now a lapped athlete. I remember her at the beginning, so she's a full lap behind. If that is indeed her at the front of this race, she's in that pack anyway. So she's not on our timing sheets as part of this group.
No.
Because she's a lap down. Well, there you go. You can see all the 300,000 residents of this wonderful city here about an hour or an hour 20 from Sydney, depending on the traffic. And it is a beautiful little part of the world. You kind of come across the top of the mountain range there in the national parks, and you can look out to your left and see this incredible vista And that's the one that the athletes are swimming in right now, and some beautiful, clear blue water here in Australia, which we take for granted, I think, a little bit sometimes.
We do indeed. I know, and it's not until we get all the Europeans over here that they start putting it all up on their social media about how beautiful the beaches are.
Yeah.
It makes you think, you know what, we are pretty lucky.
I know, and here's me moving to Europe at the end of the year. What am I thinking? What's the plan there?
Europe's pretty special as well, I must admit. I think for all Australians, it's such a journey to get over there. I think when you get over there, and it's so different to Australia. I don't know what it'd be like not to visit Europe each and every year.
Yeah, look, I would agree with you. Once you've gotten used to all of that, I mean, there's so much wonderful culture, and all the athletes that we can see in that shot right now represent so many different cultures, but so many of them are so close together. So that's the reason we're going to take the kids over there, and they can enjoy, you know, being exposed to many different cultures.
Everything that Europe's got to offer, that's
because you can fly for 5 hours here and still be in Australia. The distance between Sydney and Perth, to put it in perspective for the Europeans or the rest of the world watching on, the distance between Sydney and Perth is the same distance as between London and Moscow.
Crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
but there's not much in between.
No.
And we're on one side, we're on the eastern side right now, and that out there, it's next stop New Zealand, if you keep swimming. But we're not swimming right now, we're on the 5th lap of 7 on the bike. And the group, and we'll give you an update on the splits between the front pack and the chasers. The group of 26 are staying together, except for Vanessa Postberg, the Swiss athlete who was in this group. The pace hasn't really been, unless she dropped off when Richelle Hill attacked, and she's dangling. Other than that, maybe she's had an issue. But she finished in the Swiss Sprint National Champs in June 2nd behind Julie Derrin, so she's not bad.
She's very accomplished athlete.
She is not bad one bit. So I'd say maybe she's had an issue there, maybe a drop chain or something similar to that, because she's lost about 30 seconds, but no more.
Great shot there of the enormous race village on screen right now.
Yeah, there's not much. It was packed a little while ago, but now everyone's, you know, watching.
They're all on the edge of this course watching. It was packed solid this morning after the age group race was done and dusted.
And I think the bikes are all back. They were all gone, but if we see, not there, but a little bit further down, the bikes are all racked for the age group sprint world championships, which take place tomorrow morning.
There you go.
So all of those right there are sprint athletes who'll be at home right now watching the under-23 world championships and being extremely nervous. And they'll have a terrible night's sleep ahead of them like I had last night. Tonight, though, relaxed.
You'll sleep like
because the Junior Worlds doesn't start until 2:15 p.m. local time, which is just about right for me.
I tell you, I'm really liking this schedule. I'm not sure the athletes are liking it as much as me, but I'm so used to having to get up at...
Well, the Europeans are liking it. I'm getting photos from people in Europe who are enjoying getting up, having their morning cup of coffee, putting their feet up on the table, opening the laptop and enjoying some fantastic shots of Wollongong. And that's part of the reason why we have it later in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, so everyone can watch it. And look, I don't think it's affecting the athletes too much at all. Most of these athletes, as we mentioned earlier, have flown all the way from Europe. So this time zone, for some of them that have been here for a few weeks now, it might get a little tricky, but I do believe most of them have been here for a couple of weeks now.
Just like the weather and just like the course,
they're
the
professionals,
schedule is another thing that you need to overcome if you want to be a world champion, and that's the way it should be.
Precisely.
You need to be a complete athlete. You need to get every single little thing right, like Oliver Conway did. And they will have looked at that and gone, okay, we'll just do that then. That seems easy, as they head up Kembla Street and that serious long climb before they head over and then down towards the big roundabout. They'll take a left out and then they've got a nice flat stretch where they can really put some power down. The jet ski doing donuts at the bottom of your screen.
Well, his job's done. His job's done and dusted.
Does that translate, donuts?
Donuts,
or is that
yes.
just an Australian thing?
Oh, that's a good question.
Could be.
Could be. Well,
basically go around in circles really fast. That's what that is.
Well, good to see him him or her having a bit of fun.
Yeah, go on, why not? Exactly. Exactly.
His day is done till tomorrow. One thing we didn't mention, Will, was I was saying Ollie Conway and all of the under-23s, for a lot of them, their season is done and dusted, but they've actually got the mixed relay. So we've got the under-23 junior mixed relay coming up on Saturday as well, don't we?
We do indeed.
There is one more race for a lot of these younger athletes. I love the relay.
12:15, that's right, on Saturday.
I love that. I love the relay. So we know that the elite relay, mixed relay World Championships is done and dusted. That was done in Hamburg. Of course, who won that event?
Oh, I don't remember. Can you remind me, please?
Australia.
Oh, I know. I know. I wonder whether the athletes that go on and do the elite racing on Sunday, the under-23 athletes, would also do the mixed team relay on Saturday after also racing today.
Surely that's got to be too much.
Yeah, but if you were, say, Hungary and you wanted to win the mixed team relay world title for the under-23s,
you'd want your
Fanny Zulai,
best.
you had both Kropkos and somebody else, maybe, I don't know, maybe that other junior Nagy, who's really excellent as well. I mean, and you think, no, you guys can do it. That's fine. Don't worry about this one.
Good point. Actually, it'll be...
Do you want to win? Do you want to win another world title, or do you want to go in the elites fresher? That's a good question. Anyway, there's the splits again. Big group together still as we're on lap 5 of the bike. 14 or a tick under 14 kilometres to go. The two Aussies stuck together there in 10th and 11th, and followed by, where do you finish third last year? Ilona Hadhoum from France, and the number 1 seed this year, Marta Kropko. Most of the major players are in this group, and I'll give you an update as they come through on the next splits. 25. And they haven't come through yet, but there's 25 athletes in this group, including, well, you can see all those names there, so if you're following them, and then we'll wait to see the splits as they come through. The chase pack, it was 134 behind. Last time around on the last set of splits. So we'll see how far it is now, but Sophia Howell is right up there at the front alongside, and it's an interesting one, Belinda, and you, I mean, you're not a short course aficionado in terms of your racing history, but when you're in a group that big, on one hand you want to sit in, especially if you feel like you've got a good run, or you also feel like there's no point and no breakaways are going to stick, which potentially, as we're getting towards the latter parts of this bike, it might be. But then it's a bit more dangerous because on the front you want to be, you're in the wind, but you're out of danger, and your destiny's in your own hands. So it's a little bit of a lottery here for these athletes. They want to be protected, but they also don't want to be touched.
No. I mean, I think if we see on screen right now, where I would like to be right now if I was in this group is second, or either on the front or second, third, fourth, fifth wheel. I would not like to go any further back than that, just purely to stay out of trouble. And also to be in a position, if someone does decide to attack, that you are in a position where you are able to jump across and be part of that attack. You're not going to be able to do that if you're right down the back in 22nd, 23rd wheel. And it's just opening yourself up for trouble. And as we get further into this race, and you know, you get a little bit of people starting to lose concentration, that's when mistakes get made.
Yeah. There's a little bit of the concertina effect as well.
Exactly,
so kind of
overlapping of wheels, yes.
Yeah, get pushed up behind everyone, and then you have to work harder out of the back of each corner to stay in touch with the group. Whereas at the front you can carry more speed and pick your own line, but also you're going to have to deal with a little bit more wind in your face. And again, it's Betty at the front, and she spent quite a bit of time at the front in this one. Sosinski and Roderick have both moved their way up in this one as Franca Russ takes a little turn out of the wind as they get into this more exposed section. And she's an athlete who's got probably a little bit more experience than some of the others, some of the big races. So this area here around the lighthouse is one of the more windy areas and blustery. So she's been at the front for quite a while, Franca Russ, and then she might just drop back and get through this windy part and then come back towards the front of this race again. And as we look further down, Naomi Ruff finished 11th in Torremolinos in 2024. Winner of the Pan American Games in Paraguay in August. A couple of nice All America's Cup podiums there too in Montreal and Magog in the middle of the year, the middle of summer. Betty at the front, having it's a rare air for her at the front of the lead of a race, I suppose. 18th in the Rome World Cup, 32nd in the European Champs. Nothing to sneeze at those results either. And then my favourite athlete sitting in second position.
Looking down the list, sitting in 19th place right now, De Koning from the Netherlands, down to also race on Sunday afternoon. She was part of the Dutch mixed team relay that got second back at the Euro Champs. She was 10th at the Euro Champs in Istanbul as well.
I always like to look at, because they'll have in the back of their mind, you know, an athlete like De Koning will go, well, last year I finished in 23rd.
Yes.
And that's my mark. I mean, she might not say that's my mark, but the first thing she needs to do is beat that position.
Yes.
And she's in a group here of 25, so she'll be like, okay, well, the odds are good.
They're not
at
bad.
the moment. I need to run well. She's not a renowned runner. She's one of the shorter athletes. She doesn't have a huge stride. But she has a turn of speed. I mean, she's raced a lot of super tri races where you've got to be right at the top of your speed. It's not a 10-kilometre race. It's a very different looking race than this is. But she'll be looking at that. And then you look at a couple of the other athletes who've had a day out here before the Worlds, like Richelle Hill. She was all the way back in 31st last year. She had a better season in the second half of the season this year than she did last year. So she'll obviously be looking at that moment and going, okay, that's the first thing I need to do is make sure that I'm in this pack and no one else gets near me. And these are the little things that go through your head, I suppose, especially when you're sitting in a big group like this. And speaking of a big group, that big group behind is now 2.5 minutes back.
Wow.
So the group with not only the world champion from last year, but the vice world champion as well, Horvath and Michalickova, 2 minutes and 29 seconds in arrears. Also in that group, Daniela Moya, Inés Rico, Bethany Cook, Julia Vizguero, Chelsea Webber, Sydney Clement, and then they go back another 20 seconds to Joy Gill, Nelly Decay, and then Julia Broca, Maria Lopez, who we talked about earlier on. She's way back in 38th position. And Molly Lukustiak as well from Slovakia, the other Slovakian athlete. And then 6 minutes and a half back, Ellison Wolf of the USA and Giovanna Lacerda of Brazil. So 6.5 minutes spread the field, but really it's about 3 minutes for almost everybody. One big group, Vanessa Posberg all on her own, 1:38 back, and then 50 seconds to the group that includes Horvath and Michalickova, then Gill and Decay, Broca, Lopez and Lukustiak, and then the two back markers. Last of all in 40th and 41st position. Because there's 46 athletes in this race, so it's possible that some other athletes have not come through the timing mark yet, or we have two athletes
we have
who
had
DNF'd.
two DNFs, that's right.
Meanwhile, at the front, Levi is back at the front again, the Israeli athlete, the sole Israeli in the field. Only one French woman in the field too, which is unusual. I always
Very
think
unusual.
that at these levels, at junior and under 23 level, there's obviously usually a very high number of French athletes. They come through very quickly through their Grand Prix system. And on lap 6, it's a bit of the status quo, except for the gap between the slot and the chasing pack.
Which continues to grow.
Yeah, it does grow.
But surely someone's got to do something before the end of this bike ride, or are they just going to, I mean, this is a world championship. Are they all just going to roll into transition together?
I feel like this could be the first use of the term back in my day from Belinda Granger. At that juncture, you're going to be like, well, back in my day, this is what we did.
Back in my day, I actually started my career in Olympic distance. I did the test event, the Sydney Olympics, but back in my day when I did race Olympic distance, it was still draft illegal. So this is all still quite a new...
Back in the day.
I literally only raced a couple of draft legal races, so...
It's fun. It is fun.
It is fun, but to me, this is not fun.
No, this part's not fun.
This is not fun.
Although I would be happy because I would be in the lead pack and I wouldn't have to do that much work because I would not take a turn. But there you go. That's the concertina effect that Franca Rust is experiencing there as each athlete accelerates out and suddenly what was a group is suddenly
strung out
by 150 metres and the back markers have to do a lot of work to get back into that.
And let me tell you, each time in this, we know they've done this 7 times, or they're going to do it 7 times. Each time they do it, it's like burning a little bit of a match with the legs. And the problem with that is once they get into transition and they are demanding their legs to run as hard as they can for 10 kilometres, all of a sudden you get a situation where they're like, no, we just don't have that left anymore. You've burnt those matches. And so that's why I was saying the best position for the women to be right now is up the pointier end of this big group, just because exactly what you said, every time they go around a corner like that, it's just so tough on the legs to get them back up to speed, and those gaps do start to form.
Looks like a nice little Sunday ride, doesn't it? A little group ride with the crew.
Doesn't look like anyone's really wanting... You know, I can hear that noise. I mean, that's freewheeling. So
yep, heard a lot of that today already. Yeah, freewheeling into this one, so that the pace definitely not on. And while it looks tranquil from the outside, there will be a lot of tactical thinking going on right now between these athletes as to where they need to position themselves, who is around them, who is a threat, where they should be sitting at this point, because there's good and bad parts, and there is the gap back to the chasers, and that is a big gap. That is the Horvath and Michalickova group, and they have a long way to go to the northernmost part of this course. A long way to go. I think it'll be more than 2 minutes and 30 seconds now. We're only seeing the splits because they haven't, that's where the timing mats are. So when we get them at the far northern part, these athletes will have already gotten to the blue carpet. As they're coming through back to the coastal part of town, to right on the water. Beautiful coastal walk there that my mum walked down this morning to watch me race. She walked along there, and that's where, not far from where the age group swim start was, which is exactly the same place as what the elites do. But it's, you know, if you think about training down here, there's some really nice runs, just like that one right there. As the group comes back down onto the blue carpet, we still haven't got the splits from the other athletes up at the top.
So
no, we have just now, 240 now.
Wow.
240 now, and then these athletes will hit the blue carpet at the bottom of this hill. So you can just about ride off Michalickova, Horvath, Bethany Cook, Julia Broca, Joy Gill, Ines Rico, and Vanessa Postberg.
And isn't it crazy to think first and second place from last year's under-23 World Championships are not going to feature in today's race?
Well, in their defence, as we've already talked about, Horvath having had an injury hit year,
Zero races this year.
And when you go and look at what Michalickova has done, she raced Super Tri, she did race the European Champs in Istanbul where she finished 5th, but then she won gold in the World Winter Tri Championship, she won gold in the European Aquathlon Championships. She had, by her own admission, what she calls an experimental year.
Which I think is important. I think the seasons are so long now, Will. I remember back in the day, you'd race for maybe 6 months of the year.
That's our second back in the day.
But now these women and men are racing all year round. I mean, they could, if they wanted to race every month of the year, there is a race that there's something for them to do. So I think mentally, I think she's made a wise move because she gives herself a little bit of a break. She gets the love back for the sport. She gets to do things that make her happy. She gets to realise that she's actually good at slightly different events. I mean, they're all still multi-sport events that she's been doing, but just slightly different, and just takes the pressure off. So next year, when we start the Olympic cycle again, she's ready to give it everything. She's locked in, locked and loaded.
Mentally fresh.
I think it's the one thing that's probably the hardest for an elite or a professional athlete to do is knowing when to take a break, when to step back and take time out. And particularly at this age when they're so young and we are demanding so much from them, I think it's important that they have a good team around them, a good coach that can sense that someone is in need of a little bit of a timeout or just to do something a little bit different so that they don't lose the love. Because what we see in sport so often is these youngsters, these incredible youngsters coming through the sport, but then by the time they hit elite, we've lost them because they've just lost the love. And that's one thing we don't want.
No, it's a long career if you get it right, and you don't want to go too hard too early. And some of those junior athletes, you know, I will worry about them, and just when they discover the big wide world out there, they want to stick with it and not get pushed too hard, as we're now mercifully on to lap 7 of this bike.
The final lap.
Which is, and I don't want to detract from the race tactics here have made it a little more difficult or not quite as exciting, but it has set us up for a cracking
spectacular run.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of this racing, isn't it? Particularly over Olympic and sprint distance, is there are so many tactics and so many different scenarios that we can come up with. And yes, while this has made the ride, so the 40-kilometre ride, I don't like to use the word boring. It's not boring, but
it hasn't been boring. It just hasn't been exciting.
No, it does mean that we are in for one cracker of a run because there are no absolute standouts. And there's no Oliver Conways in the field. There are some very good runners, but no one that I can actually say, you know what, such and such is going to take this.
You know what? When I at this point in the men's race, I said to you, who's going to win this one? And I thought you were going to flip-flop, you know, and just kind of be like, oh, well, there's a few there. And you were like, well, Oliver Conway is going to win easily. And that was the end of the sentence. It was the shortest sentence you've ever said, in fact.
It was. And you know what sealed the deal for me? I got to have a bit of a chat with, as I said earlier, Vicky Holland and I, and she's so knowledgeable. She's one of the greatest commentators out there. And obviously the only reason she's not over here now to do the T100 on Saturday afternoon is because she's literally about to have baby number 2. Like literally, she's sitting at home right now waiting for baby number 2. But she's so knowledgeable.
She wouldn't have got too overexcited and gone into labour based on the last 6 laps of this bike.
Well, I know, which is good, but...
Vicky, we hope you well.
She might have got excited because she was the one that said to me, absolutely without a doubt, Ollie Conway is going into this race in the best form of his life, and she was correct.
He's in the best form of almost everyone's life at the moment, the way he is racing. The World Cup win under his belt on debut, and then a 4th in Karlovy Vary on his WTCS debut. He's going to run out of things to debut in, and then he's going to stop winning, but... Anyway, let's have a look at what the run is going to happen, but let's have a look back at what they attacked. And this is very similar to what the elites, in fact, it's exactly the same as what the elites are going to have on Sunday.
Sunday afternoon.
7 laps on the bike. We're in the 7th one right now. That's the open road section, the northern turnaround. Then they come back in down the hill into transition after what was quite a technical section before that. And then just when they think that Flagstaff Hill is done, they get to run around it 5 times as well. And that is really where this run is made or broken, up that hill. And then they head down now and make the turn around next to Wynn Stadium, which is a rugby league stadium here in Wollongong, home of the St George Dragons, and then into and onto the black carpet, or the blue carpet, sorry. Just had a little Super Try backflash there. Yep, it's not black, it's blue now. What do you call the T100 carpet? Is that blue or is it like aqua?
Oh, I don't know if they have a special word for that.
Teal?
Teal? Blue?
The teal carpet doesn't really have a ring to it.
Hey, it's interesting you brought up
send your suggestions in
for the actual colour. It's interesting you brought up the Wynn Stadium, of course, the football. It's a big deal here in Australia, rugby league. For those of you that are wondering what sort of football I'm actually talking about, because you say football.
We have 4 different types of football here, depending on what your football is and where you live.
It can be soccer, it can be AFL, it can be rugby league, it can be rugby union. But the rugby league, we just had our finals in the AFL and the rugby league.
Here we go.
And of course, Queensland came out on top in both codes, which I think really good for the Matty Houses and the Luke Williams.
He's a Brisbane Lions fan.
Yes, yeah, both from Queensland. I know that Luke Williams, a Brizzy boy himself, so we are on a winning streak in Queensland, and I'm just hoping that the boys on Sunday can keep that going.
Well, me too. As an entirely unbiased commentator, I'm still Australian, deep down. Millie Breeze dangling off the back of this group there, and she's going to have to work hard to stay in touch with the British athlete. You can see her at the back there as the Australian coaching staff members yell some instructions at Tara Sosinski and Richelle Hill. Love nothing more than an Australian win of the World Championships on home soil for the first time in 7 years back here. And then obviously next year it goes to Pontevedra, and then the big announcement, Belinda, yesterday, of the 2027 World Triathlon Championship Series Grand Final is at...
I can't remember.
You showed me it.
Oh, I know.
Hamburg.
Oh, Hamburg again. Sorry.
Jeez
That's
Louise.
right. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
It is in Hamburg. I did show you. Sorry, I was wondering about the... We've had so many announcements. We had the announcement about London as well. So...
Tell me about that.
Getting a race back in London, along with the T100, not the T100 professional race, just the T100 age group race, but another WTCS race in London, which I'm sure all of the British athletes are over the moon about.
I might have a go at a T100 age group race. I think the longer the races are, the better for me. I'm slow.
I'm definitely not. My racing days are definitely long gone.
I hate swimming. There's the Seacliff Bridge. There's Belinda doing some yoga. There's me doing slow laps. And some people have friends. That's not me or Belinda.
Hold on.
Enjoying what is an incredible place down here in Wollongong. And thank you so much to the support of Destination New South Wales, who've made all of this possible. And make sure you visit newsouthwales.com to learn more about how one of these people here could be you, playing with your friends on the beach here in Wollongong. How's your surfing skills?
Not particularly good.
No.
Which is unusual.
We actually went surfing in the Gold Coast. Did you come?
Yes, I did, and I was terrible.
Yeah, you were.
I tried for about 30 minutes and then gave up.
Good stuff.
It was
That's
quite
the
embarrassing.
Spirit. Anyway, here we are. We're at the end. Oh, we're at the end of the bike. And they come down the hill for the last time, and they're going to fly onto the blue carpet. And we hope, because they're going so quick, they can get off.
Such a quick track.
And everyone, that's the skills.
Oh!
That's the skills to make it across just. And Maureen Franca Rust in the front. And then Hal next to her as well. There's Tara Sosinski and Richelle Hill, the Australians. Aviv Levi there, Brea Roderick. Let's see who comes out first. Ilona Hadhoum as well was in early, as was Marta Kropko and Martina McDowell.
Oh, we've got our first
top
out
eight.
now. Bang.
And here come your athletes out. And it's Hadhoum who comes out first. The French athlete, number 29, but she's been racing a lot of French Grand Prix. She was 8th last year. It was her first ever standard distance race, if you can believe that. The Under-23 World Championships finishes in the top 10. Group of 6 at the front. We're onto the run. 10 kilometres now.
And look at that, Will. A group up front already forming.
Behind. Look at them behind.
And they are just desperately trying to bridge up to this group of 6. But that first few hundred metres, fast and furious. People want to get out of there. And both the Aussies, look at that, both the Aussies out in front. This is a fantastic position for both of these women. We know that they are both running really, really well.
Yeah, Sosinski was 3rd out of transition. Hill was 7th out of transition, and she's bridged up, and now she leads this one.
She is not hanging around.
So, Hill at the front. Here's the chasing pack on the right-hand side. Just trying to see what that name is. Maybe 15 years ago it had better eyesight. As Hill stops for a drink of water, as does a couple of the other athletes, including Hadhoum, but some don't. Rust is in there as well. Angelica Prestia as well, the Italian athlete. Sophia Howell. I think Aviv Levi's in there too. That's Robin Dreisling, the Dutch athlete, who is breaking away with a couple of Spanish athletes.
She's another of our athletes that's backing it up on Sunday afternoon.
Yes, beautiful. Golden hour.
So we've got 9 at the front. Hill leads them. Beautiful shot here of Wollongong.
You can't.
It's the 2 Aussies, 1 and 2.
You can't tell, Will, from this shot. Just they are actually running uphill all the way till they get round that corner. So that's a better shot of it. So it is, while it's not a very long hill, it's still a hill and it's still going to hurt them.
Oh, they've got to do it
Three more
after
times, exactly.
And this is where Martin Kropko ran away from U23 earlier on, about 3:30 this afternoon.
And won't it be interesting to see if this is where one of these women is going to strategically pounce?
It was lap 3 last time, probably a good time to do it. We'll look back at the rest of it. So there's all those athletes who came in together. They came out within 13 seconds of each other. It was Brittany Brown, Isla Britton, Meiko Hirozumi, Paolo Sacchi, who all had pretty slow transitions, and Kropko too, who missed this front group by virtue of a slow transition as well. She dropped 5 spots. And now attacks coming from the chasing pack. Casals, the Spanish athlete.
Of course, the Spanish athletes renowned for being very good runners.
She's dropped the rest of those group of 4 who were chasing. And is trying to catch on to that group. And here is the lead group, and it's Hill and Sosinski at the front. Then Hadhoum, and the Italian athlete in there as well. Prestia. Howell's tucked in there. I think Kropko's managed to get on that group
I
now.
can see it
She's
just
at the
behind.
back.
I saw it just behind Russ there, so I think she's in exactly where she wants to be.
Hill looks good though. She looks
does.
composed. She looks composed at the moment. Oceania senior champion and under-23 champion. Was it Devonport down in Tasmania where she won that one? Very different conditions to here. Had a good top 10 in Napier at the World Cup early in the year as well. As you say, her mum and also her coach is, her mum is her coach, and her mum is Rini Hill, the Olympian.
Rini Hill, that's right. Very, very accomplished athlete. Renowned for her swim and her run. Interesting story about Rena from many years ago. She was a short course athlete, and obviously that was her forte, was the Olympic distance, but tried her hand at some longer distance and did the World Triathlon long distance champs when they were on Sato Island in Japan. And I only know this because I think it was one of my first races as a professional over that distance. And she'd never raced over that distance before, or maybe had done it once. And she came into the race and she was very, very sick, had a really bad cold, and I thought there's no way that she's going to be able to finish. Well, long story short, not only did she finish, she became the long distance world champion that day. So I think that just goes to show what talent this family has. So for me to see Richelle Hill leading this race right now is no real surprise.
No, she's locked in 100%, although, is that the lead group? Is that our lead athlete now who's gone off the front? I think it is. Yes, it is. So as they make the turnaround here, we're going to get some fresh splits.
Great. She
but
has.
It's Heidi Durankova, the Czech athlete. Doesn't look like a Czech kid, though. And 6 seconds across the top 8. And there's your chasers. Is that a Czech kit? Are they wearing red today? That's what the timing says. So Heidi Durankova in the lead at the moment. Fresh off a 10th at the under-23 European champs in Malia. You know, top 10 spread by 10 seconds. And then you can see the pace has been very hot. A lot of athletes were working pretty hard on that bike, even if it didn't seem to be. And athletes like Bria Roderick and Levi, who was leading sections of this one, 48 seconds back already.
Wow. It's really starting to spread.
Yeah, it's about staying in touch on the first lap. So there was a little attack there by Durankova. And then Hadhoum, Prestia, Rust, Sosinski, Kropko, and Casals, the Spanish athlete, are the top 7. And then Sophia Howell's in there as well. And Hill's actually fallen back a little bit now.
Interesting, Casals, I just found out, Casals is actually coached by no other than the great Javi Gomez. So Javi Gomez,
he's a national coach now, though, isn't he?
Yes. Yep. So
Durankova. I realise the Czechs wearing red, but there you go. Group behind them, and Hill's leading them. I saw Javier a couple of weeks ago. He's still in fine form. He looks like he could race tomorrow.
I bet he could, if he wanted to.
Franco Rust, Ilona Hadhoum, Tara Sosinski, Marta Kropko, a lot of the major athletes in there. Over 3 minutes back now to the reigning and vice reigning world champions. So they are out of this one, and off the front is Heidi Jurenkova, who's looking to upset her much more fancied rivals. She's picked up some important elite level racing experience in Carla Vivari in the French Riviera. She was hovering around the top 20 in those 2 races in the WTCS. So she's taking that into a cracking opening lap and a little bit of this run. And the gap's getting bigger. I wonder if there's going to be a response from those behind who look like they are doing their absolute utmost at this exact moment to try and stay in touch. But Jurenkova has found another gear in this one. Let's see if she can put more time in during this difficult Flagstaff Hill. It was 4 seconds at the last split, which was actually down at the turnaround near Wynn Stadium. So it's definitely more than that now, and quite a bit more, I would say, maybe something more like 9 or 10 seconds. Looks good though.
She does, and certainly not an athlete that I had on my radar. I mean, was 10th at the under-23 European champs in Melilla, and then 22nd at the French Riviera in Fréjus, and then 21st in Hungary. So nothing, I mean,
well, they're
solid
still,
results,
I mean, they're elite races, but still, I mean, they're not, I mean, Marta Kropko finished 13th in Weihai, which was much more recent than that, and then came straight here for this one. So here is the chase group, of which she is a member, but it looks like, and I don't know whether she's decided to see if she can break everyone and burn all the matches, or she's just having a Conway type of a day. Which I hope that she is for her sake, because she certainly risked it all, and that's what we like to see. Bit of a different vibe down there too, because she's been sitting in a pack for 40 kilometres just about, and then she's been running with the pack, and then now all she can hear is her own footsteps. And suddenly she's all by herself, and I just wonder, and it's a little bit later in the day, so there's less people out cheering her on, although she will come into a more populated section of the course in a second.
Fairly soon.
It's a different type of vibe when you're running and all you can hear is your own breathing and your own footsteps versus being around a group for that amount of time, which has been about the last, the entire race up to now, an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But she seems to have handled it well. She looks good. Her arm carriage is good. She's upright. She's got her eyes up. She's shaking it out.
Well, you know what,
I was
literally just about to say, when are we going to get that first look behind? You don't want to do it too early. You want to make sure that that gap is substantial. And just a little cheeky quick check to see exactly where that group was.
I reckon it's holding pretty steady now. I don't know if it's extending more than what it was as they came into Flagstaff Hill. Maybe a touch. It's hard to know, but you can see other athletes that are so far behind now running the other way. They've still got to do the entire lap around the lighthouse, and they're all strung out and finding it going pretty tough. And they're looking over and thinking that they wish they were Heidi Jurenkova right now. Oh, the number 9 bib.
And she looks good. You know, we see her shaking out the arms. And I remember when I used to think if I saw an athlete doing that they were just starting to tighten up a little bit around the shoulders and neck area and just reminding themselves to stay relaxed upper body. And you know who does it quite a lot? And there's certainly no denying how good he is Hayden Wild.
Yeah, he does.
Often in his runs, he shakes it out. And I remember when I first saw him do that, I thought, oh no, is Hayden starting to...
And then he never did it again. He never flagged ever.
It's just something he does. It doesn't mean that he's slowing down. I think it's just reminding yourself, okay, I'm in the lead. I need to stay under control. And it's just reminding yourself to stay relaxed, because it's so very easy when you're leading like this and all the pressure's on you to try and hold that lead. All of a sudden you've got no neck because your shoulders are just continuing to rise as you get a little tighter each and every stride. And so it's really important, just by giving that little bit of a shake out of the arms, you know, the shoulders drop, everything starts to relax, and you want that upper body to stay as relaxed as possible and just let the legs do all the work.
Okay, a couple of little bits and pieces here. Chelsea Webber of the USA has picked up a penalty for equipment outside the box. We've had a DNF as well, number 38. That is Inês Rico, who was in the chase pack. The Portuguese athlete who's coming off a good, solid 5th in the Mediterranean Champs. She is DNF for medical. I don't think it's an accident. I think it's just a medical. And apart from that, there is your race leader and the gap behind. There's a few stragglers trying to jump onto that group as well. So Hill still leading this group with 2 Australians in it. She doesn't look any different than what she did before, and I feel like it hasn't been a drop-off in pace from the chase group, but just a burst of pace and then a sustained effort from Michalickova. And whether she can hold on is another question.
And everyone in this group, this chase group, looking pretty good early on in the run. No one on the back looks like they're struggling or
The gap's bigger now, though. It's bigger now, I think, than it was a kilometre ago. We'll get another split in a second. But yeah, you're right, they don't look bad.
No.
But they are 6 seconds back. It was 4 seconds.
Now it's 6, yep.
It's now 6. We'll get another one soon enough. But she's not running away with it Ollie Conway style, but she is doing everything she needs to do at the moment to become the under-23 world champion here on a lovely afternoon in Wollongong on the south coast of New South Wales. And she'll be one of those athletes that obviously has travelled a long, long way. And then I think there might be the Czech coach there with the stopwatch in hand.
Stopwatch ready to go.
Yep, the big CZE on his cap will give that one away. And he'll say, let's listen in. My Czech is almost fluent, and he said, hurry up and win. I've got no idea what he said. I bet he said 6 seconds.
It was something along those lines.
Keep running faster. Okay, good. I'm sure it was something clever, more clever than that. So there is the gap and the group as she makes the turn down the bottom, which means we're about to head out on a Flagstaff Hill now for another go around. About 12 and a half minutes into this run. And she's looking pretty solid. I'm told, I'd love to say that I knew this, but I'm told that the Czech coach that was yelling at his name is Honza Selustka. I hope I haven't butchered that too bad. Former Olympian himself in triathlon. Obviously you knew that. Big fan of the Selustkas, me. We still don't know what he said, but I'm sure he said, you're doing great, keep on going. And she is doing great, Michalickova. She has put yet more time into that chasing group. And there comes a time, I suppose, Belinda, where the chasing group start to think about the minor medals.
Exactly.
And that's when
pace
Michalickova happy.
And all of a sudden, those seconds start to really push out to a point of no return. And interestingly enough, the French Riviera, which she raced, I mentioned earlier before, where she was 22nd in Fréjus, was actually her debut in a WTCS race. So this is a woman that doesn't have a vast amount of experience in elite racing. So to look at what she's doing right now, this is definitely
sometimes the lack of experience is an asset.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, what's the problem? Let's go.
You don't have any preconceived ideas or expectations. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a woman here take a chance and backing herself. That's what I like more than anything. She's backing herself. So while we look at her results and we might not think that she's in a position in her career to take a world championship, this is a woman that's backing herself, that's got the confidence to go off the front. She obviously was in that group thinking, I can run faster than this. And, you know, making this race exciting for all of us watching. So
she doesn't look like she's under too much pressure, does she?
She doesn't. She looks really in control.
Nice
breathing is controlled.
Downhill, yep.
Love it.
And we'll keep you updated on the rest. On the last splits too, if you're a fan of some of the athletes who aren't up there or thereabouts as we go down the... We go back to Kropko, who's 12 seconds back behind this chase, first chase group. Then Hadhoum is 15 seconds back. Howell, 15 seconds back. Manami Hayashi, the Asia champ, she's 22 seconds back. Alejandra Seguisoria from Spain, 39 seconds back, along with Dominga Elena Giacome from Chile. Barbara Draconig, 41 seconds. Rebecca Betty, 44. Robin Dreisling, 46. Hasti Flirak is my favourite athlete, 59 seconds back with Mako Hirazumi. Paolo Sacchi has dropped back to 106. And then some of the big names further down. Bria Roderick, 137. Aviv Levi, 147. Maria Lopez, 338. Julia Broca, 348. Michalickova, 414 back as well. And I'm just looking for... and still hasn't come through, in fact, is our reigning world champion, Katrina Helga Horvath, who hasn't actually crossed the timing match yet. And that means she's more than 5 minutes and 26 seconds in arrears, if that is how I understand it off the timing splits. So, a tough year for her, but not so much for our race leader, who has made the breakaway early in the run, as she saw Ollie Conway do. Heidi Durankova, the Czech athlete, who was 4, then 6 seconds, and now more than that. And she has some high-quality athletes chasing her in this pack, who are pacing their way off this motorbike.
I tell you what, though, these women right here are still in the game.
They're in it. Oh, they're in it.
And you can see by the way they're running, none of them are tightening up. It doesn't look like... I mean, obviously they can't afford to let this gap move out any further than it is, but it's hard for me to look at these women because they don't look like they're on their limit. But again, seconds each lap, each timing split.
Yeah,
sorry,
I mean,
seconds each split.
Longer.
And in the wrong direction.
We'll get a split at the top of the stadium dead turn, which we'll see in just a second. So it was 6 seconds to this initial chasing pack. And as soon as she makes the turn here, we'll start a new set of splits. And she'll get a look back too. So here we go at 5.7. So we're well in the second half of this run now.
Oh, look at that.
8 seconds, 9 seconds. So just putting another 1 or 2, eking one out here and there.
But that's all she needs. That's all she needs, each timing split, to get another 2 to 3 seconds. And eventually it'll get to a point where it's just not possible, and that chase group will be racing for second and third place.
Well, this is where we talk about whether we roll the dice, and the question of rolling the dice comes from the chase pack, because the dice has been rolled by the Czech athlete, and now it's, do I go for gold and risk silver and bronze? And as soon as that doubt comes into the mind, I imagine that that's the race won for the Czech athlete, which, you know, and all that happens between the ears while your heart rate's at 180, and you're starting to look around and you're starting to think, and it's a consistently changing landscape. But some of these athletes will start to be thinking about hanging in there and giving themselves a chance of a podium.
Yeah.
At this point, at an hour and 42 or 43 minutes in.
And we're halfway through the run now, so it's going to be very interesting to see if someone takes a chance or they play it safe. And you're right, at the end of the day, a podium.
Well, it's a lot to risk.
It's still yes.
It's a lot to risk. Now you can see, I think it's probably even gone even further, and she's in danger of being out of sight, out of mind for like small parts of the course now.
Very good position for her to be in, and especially now she's going to be given another split from the coach.
The coach whose name was? You tell me.
Stop putting me on the spot, Ratbag. You're awful.
I'm quickly going back to my messages. Honza Salustka,
that's it, Honza.
Who I'm told was giving her splits in Czech. So I have spies all around the world who speak all different languages.
That's a great shot. Look at that shot. It gives you great perspective on just how much time she has now on that chase group. I tell you what, though, we have got a race and a half on our hands for those last 2 spots on the podium, Will.
I'm hearing out on course, speaking of spies, that every time, and that's when you know Heidi Durankova is in good form because every time she passes Zuzana Michalickova, she starts screaming and cheering her on whilst running.
Whilst running. Well, not just whilst running, Will. Whilst winning.
Whilst winning. So she's actually got enough awareness and breath in her body to cheer on her, not compatriot, but it's not far from Czechoslovakia.
It's obviously a good friend.
From the Czech Republic. So, you know, that bodes well if you're a Czech fan.
And even here, you know, she's running downhill at the moment. You can see on the downhill, she's really opening up that stride of hers and actually picking it right up. Just using every part of the course that she can, where she knows she can make up some free time. She's using it. So very, very clever racing from this young woman.
Looking behind her and seeing plenty of fresh air.
I mean, I really have to squint now to see that trace group. You can see them going through the aid station right now.
Yeah, it's slowly gone out from 4 to 6 to 9, and then we'll get another look soon. And
what we've got to remember as well, while she may be getting the splits from her coach, we know that these women are getting splits from their coach or their team as well, and it's demoralising. Even though it's only seconds, these ladies know they're running well, but they're getting, you know, each time they get a split, it's a few seconds more than it was before. And where they want it to be a few seconds in the other direction.
Yeah, it's just it's sort of like death by a thousand cuts, this one.
Exactly,
so
exactly. It's like, what do we have to do?
But if they were going from 9 to 6 to 4, suddenly it'd be 0. Because they'd find something else, because they know that they were closing in, and they get excited and off they go.
All of a sudden,
the other way, suddenly you start to slow down a bit more, and then the splits get worse, and you slow down a bit more, and then you think, oh, I could probably go a silver.
And then you think there's 6 of them, and they know there's 6 of them in the group, and they know there's only 2 more spots on that podium up for grabs. So what do you do?
Well, I mean, there's also another athlete, which I think is... I want to say,
look at this now.
Rust.
We've got some.
Off we go, and it is Prestia.
Wow.
The Italian athlete who's decided to pick up the pace a little bit, and behind her, Marta Kropko.
Marta Kropko right on a hammer, and I was waiting for this.
That's the same spot on the same lap as her brother went in the exact same position to get rid of another Italian athlete 2 hours ago.
It's crazy, and I think they've realised, Prestia's realised, you know, we are on the 3rd of 4 laps. If we allow her to keep putting time into us, when she goes on that last lap, we are in big trouble because they're just going to run out of real estate. So now...
Well, can Richelle Hill respond? That's the question. The Italian is doing to the Hungarian what the Hungarian did to the Italian last year for the exact same positions on the podium, 2nd and 3rd.
This is crazy.
I feel like that has been written. I don't know how it's possible that this thing could happen in reverse, exactly the same place on exactly the same day with the same people, with the same last name.
Madness, but...
The Australians have dropped off the back a little bit now. Richelle Hill's tucked in behind Maria Casals. She's starting to list a little bit now. She's got the head tilt going on.
Hey, look at that. Look at the time that she's made up already.
Well, this race is not over, everybody.
Absolutely not.
Suddenly... maybe she saw that too, Prestia, and she thought she just doesn't look the same way she looked a minute ago or a few minutes ago. And can the Italian, Angelica Prestia...
bridge across?
Yeah, bridge across and run down.
Look at the difference in leg turnover right now. Wow.
Hammering along.
This is a woman on a mission.
Well, I mean, she's in form too. She was debut World Cup 2 weeks ago in Rome, finished 9th. Finished 7th in the European Champs. She beat athletes like Alice Beto and Maria Tomei and Verena Steinhauser. So
she's in good form.
She's in form on the run.
Very good form.
And she has suddenly more than halved that gap. She could drag the others up there too. So suddenly, and she'll know, if she hasn't looked around, she'll hear the cheering. And she'll know she's under pressure now all of a sudden, Jurenkova.
So that group, I think they were just... obviously, she was biding her time, just sitting in there, making sure that she felt good.
Well, it's gone. It's over.
And she has pounced right now.
All right.
Wow.
We've got to change. And she looks to one side and on the other side, Prestia is going to go straight past her, and she's erased a 9-second gap in the space of 1 kilometre, and that will break the hearts of the Czech fans and from Heidi Jurenkova, who stopped.
What is going on here?
She has stopped.
What
she
just
has
happened?
been passed, and then she has pulled over for a moment, I don't think I've ever seen that in my life.
Do you know, it looked like there was a little bit of confusion with her. She was indicating to go somewhere else. I don't know what happened then.
Is it a lap count?
That's what I'm thinking. Did she get mixed up with the laps? Is she thinking that she's finished? I'm not sure what happened there. It was very confusing, but then it was almost like she got past and it was just the wind was blown out of her sails completely. That was intense, but she's back at it now, so it's good to... Thankfully, she is back running, but for a split second, it was almost like she decided game over.
Well, Webber is a lapped athlete. Here we go, and Prestia has gone past. She's remonstrating with someone on one side, and then she's been past, looked around and thought, when she stopped, she hasn't done anything. She's blown her nose and that's it.
And then said, okay.
You can run, and you can do the run blow.
Yeah, I think she was just something. I'd love to talk to her after the race because something obviously... She obviously got a little bit confused with something there because it was obvious she wasn't running as well, but she certainly didn't look like she was in a state where she needed to stop.
No, but she immediately started again.
Yes, yeah.
So maybe she just hit the old reset
button. Yep.
The old blue screen, turn it off and on again, and then we're good. So we'll see. We'll see if she pops out of the trees there, and it looks like Kropko's gone past her, and she's in a battle now with three, and I think that's Kropko, and I want to say potentially another athlete. Or was it Prestia? Just Casals? I don't know who's coming fourth there at the moment. Tough to see, but now
it
suddenly...
definitely looks like Casals is in that group of three.
Casals and Durankova and Kropko, potentially, is what I'm thinking. Then a lapped athlete who might be Webber, and then maybe Naomi Ruff, who's come back into it all of a sudden. And Manami Hayashi's come back into it too, and Sasinski's under pressure, and I don't see Hill either, so the Aussies have faded a little bit. We're in the same position we were before, but we have a different colour at the front, and it is Angelica Prestia, the Italian, who was the 15th highest ranked athlete out there, certainly not someone we've been speaking a lot about in the lead up to this one, and she has decided that she'd prefer Durankova's position to her own.
Look at that gap now. Wow.
What a kick. What a kick on this athlete. And now we're in the same position we were before. Except an Italian at the front and a group at the back who are chasing her, and she looks solid.
She really does. I mean, these women are chasing hard, but Angelica just looks the goods right now. 9th in Rome, 7th at the European Triathlon Championships in Istanbul back in August. So solid results for Prestia. But again, another woman that I didn't have highlighted. I definitely had it down on my list, but I did not have her highlighted.
Dude, on your list is every athlete.
I know.
Your list is all 47 athletes, okay? So good on you for having her on your list.
Well, I mean, as
well
in,
done.
I looked her up, made sure I had some results.
Your list really is just my list that you copy-pasted.
No, I've got all my... It is not. I do my own Instagram stalking.
Do your own research.
And I know some of the elite athletes must be so sick of getting messages from me. Just one more question, just one more.
Oh, you keep inviting them over for dinner all the time. Anyway, that's by the by. We're at the dying
There's method
end.
in my madness there. But look at this. So this is that last climb, so that last...
It looks like
slog.
Kropko at the front, is it? She hasn't got a great turnover, and then she's going to be overtaken. Well, that's a better shot. Kropko at the front is Richelle Hill.
Rena Hill, gee whiz, I'm getting my
getting
mother and daughter mixed up.
Now.
But Richelle, really, really good. Great to see Richelle here still fighting so hard. And look, it looks like they've managed.
That's Casals behind, and then I think the Japanese athlete Manami Hayashi has come straight into this one, gotten rid of Naomi Ruff, gotten rid of Tara Sasinski, and come into reckoning for a top 5 position. But can they now chase down, just as Prestia did to Durankova? So I think Durankova, in fact, has dropped... No, she's not dropped off our timing sheets. I don't know what's happened to Durankova just yet. But she's on our shot right now, and that's the gap between Kropko and Hill chasing Angelica Prestia of Italy. And I tell you what, Italy have had some kind of a start to this World Championship weekend with a podium to U23, who threw a little bit of shade at the Italian Federation in his interview. Nevertheless, finished third. He's in a position of privilege and obviously meant a lot to him. And then shaking it out now is Angelica Prestia, is hoping to go 2 better on the big stage. So much has got to come together at the right time for you to win a race like this. In a field like this, you've got to come in with form, you've got to travel well, you've got to avoid getting sick, you've got to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, you've got to have a perfect swim, you've got to be positionally smart, you've got to burn your matches when they need to be burnt and not before.
Just this strategically, like the strategy that they need to use and when to go and when to sit in, when to make a break. Looking around now, and she's starting to really hurt. Obviously, it's been tough running, but honestly, if she can just manage to hold on, and you can see it's starting to hurt, it's starting to really hurt. And this is when, if these women get even a sniff, and you can see now Kropko just starting to break that elastic band between herself and
She
Richelle.
wants a silver. She wants a silver like her brother.
I tell you what.
Richelle Hill coming back, though.
Come on. This is going to be an incredible finish here. You can see that she's just
she's starting to flag now. She's going to have to make that top turn near the stadium and then come back down and onto the blue carpet. Angelica Prestia, she was part of a group for such a long time on this run. She sat in a big group on the bike, and then she's attacked, but did she attack slightly too early? There's still a decent gap. Back to Kropko and Hill, who are pushing each other. That's your podium. What order is it going to be? Is it going to stay in Oceania, or is it going to head to Italy or Hungary?
Oh, look at this. And I love that Richelle Hill has managed to claw herself back. I thought that elastic band had finally broken between herself and Kropko, but, she is an absolute fighter, Richelle. We knew from that interview at the beginning, before the race gun went off this morning, she was all business and she was here to win, and she's going to do everything in her power to cross that line in first. And I tell you what, even if she doesn't get first...
There's the gap. They're coming quick, and I think that's Hill. Is that Hill who has gapped? Now, Kropko. Here she comes onto the blue carpet. Angelica Prestia. Here comes Richelle Hill. She's left it late. Can she get back in a sprint? She's going to do it, I think. She's going to come on, and she's going to steal it from Prestia. Richelle Hill. She stayed in the group. She's gone past Prestia, and she will be the under-23 world champion in an absolute boil-over. Wow, Prestia second, Kropko third, and she has stolen it like a thief in the night.
That was...
Another one now as well.
Incredible.
And the Japanese athlete has come from nowhere, the clouds, Hayashi. Oh, what a finish. And if you don't enjoy this, what are you doing?
That was incredible. And we knew that Richelle had a kick on her. And if it came down to a sprint finish, you'd have to put your money on Richelle.
Wow.
But
Oceania champion, now world champion. 31st in the under-23 Worlds in 2024. And now first.
Straight to number one.
What a race from Richelle Hill. We'd stop talking about her. Jurenkova finishes 6th in the end behind Casals. Sasinski makes it 2 Aussies in the top 7. And Australia pick up their 3rd under-23 women's gold in the history of under-23 since 2009.
And look at that, Tara Sasinski home in 6th, so solid race from Tara, but Richelle Hill, hats off. She made it abundantly clear this morning that she was here to win. I thought for a second then when that elastic band just looked like it was about to burst, she clawed her way back and then wasn't content with a 2nd or 3rd. She wanted the win and the win only. Amazing effort.
Wow. Well, there's a name we need to remember from now on. Richelle Hill, under-23 Oceania champion, elite Oceania champion, under-23 world champion, and she is building some kind of a resume in the junior categories before she moves up to the elites, no doubt, and there are some bodies on the floor.
Oh, they've given it everything. It was really hard. And that's the thing, when you get a big group come in like that.
Oh, Naomi
no,
Ruff. And it's been super hot, and she's not going to make it to the end, is she?
She's going to have to, she needs to just,
Keep on going, Naomi.
Keep crawling. Come on, Naomi.
This race has had everything. Naomi, you can make it to the end.
Am I watching an Olympic distance race or
it looks like Kona, doesn't it?
A full distance race. This is crazy.
The Pan American Games winner from August is given absolutely everything to get over the line. I feel like as soon as the referee touches her, is that it?
It's the end. She needs to do it on her own. But I mean, she's literally right there.
We'll see. We'll get back to that one. Obviously, we want her to be well above anything else, including finishing this race.
Look at that, the camaraderie between these young athletes. I mean, this is the sort of racing that you absolutely want, that you deserve, that we know that we will get at a World Championship event. These two women right here gave it everything.
The two women who we spoke to beforehand had come in with completely different attitudes, and they have come in first and third, 2 Cropco podiums on one day, with and full respect to Angelica Prestia, who made this race what it was.
And there she is. I mean, hats off to this woman. She had the guts to go when she did, and it was, she almost, I mean, look, there'll be a little bit of it that's a little bit sad that she couldn't quite pull it off, but she has to be so incredibly proud that she basically made this race what it was.
And the same for Heidi Durinkova. Anyway, we'll head down now.
I'll try and speak.
Richelle, congratulations. You said you knew it was going to be a tough race. Oh my God, you made it tough.
Oh, that sure was a tough race. Like, out with the waves was so challenging in the swim. And then the girls made the ride really tough, which I was really proud of them for. Like, we really worked, which is good. And then the run, holy moly, those 4 laps, they really got to you in the end, but made it to the finish. And yeah.
How did you manage to keep the belief going? There was so much going on at the front of the race, and you were kind of hanging in and having to bide your time, be patient.
Oh, yeah, I went through doubt, I went through confidence, I went through the crowd, I went through every experience possible on that run, yeah.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the crowd. As you came around that corner, Angelica with a narrow lead, and like just the feeling that you went through must have been unbelievable.
Oh, all I was thinking is, will my legs get to that finish line? They were slowly giving way on me, but I made it, and I'm really proud of that performance, yeah.
Under 23 world champ, congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Angelica, if we could have you as well. Yeah, a phenomenal effort. I mean, when Jirankova sort of paused and you went past, that you just kind of feel like you had it in you at that stage?
Yeah, I'm so happy because I tried to give all I had, and yeah, I pushed till the finish, and I'm so happy to be back on this podium after 2 years that were 2 tough years, and yeah, I'm really excited.
Tell us how it was out there on the bike. It was a big group and there were some exposed areas. The wind was kind of consistently something to deal with as well.
Yeah, it was hard, the bike, very technical, hilly, and yeah, it was hard to stay always on the front, but yeah, yeah.
But you had to keep the reserves for that run as well. Just take us through, like, you know, it's hot out there. The people in front of you were on it as well.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Just take us through the run and how you had to keep believing.
Yeah, I felt very good on the run, so I tried to go away in the last 2 laps. But yeah, there was a lot of wind, so yeah, it was hard.
A brilliant race. Well done, Angelica. Marta? And Marta Kropko with the bronze, second Kropko on the podium. Yeah, an outstanding race.
Sorry?
An outstanding race. Take us through it.
I simply don't have any words. Like, I'm so lost. I'm just so happy. I really don't have any words.
Well, let's take it through the start of the race then, and the swim that you managed to pull together exactly as you would have wanted. The determination in your face at the Aussie exit.
Actually, like, I wanted to be like my brother. I was like, no, if he's gonna lead out the swim, I gotta lead out the swim. So it was just that, honestly. And I knew that if I wanted to take my chance, like, I had to take out the swim as fast as possible to like maybe be able to lose some girls on the swim. However, I was really trying to push the first 2 laps. I was almost all the time on the front. I was really trying to make the dynamics of the race just like the boys' race, like as they were pulling all the way, the whole race away from the second group. However, it was not like, only 2 of us were working, and it was not like we didn't have enough power in the group to stay away. So it was one big group, and I was actually like, I don't consider myself as a good runner, so I was like, oh, if we are like 20 girls, like, I don't even know what I should be doing then. And at the end of the bike, I was like, maybe I would try to dismount like in the beginning of the group because I'm putting the socks on. So I need some time in the transition. And then I dismounted. I like almost ran out of the transition with the first girls. And then, I don't know, I was just going with the flow, but like I was taking each step at the time. And I was just racing with the spirit of my sister because she's watching this from home, and probably my brother has already told, but we dedicate this weekend for our sister Yasmin.
And just quickly then, what is it about the socks? Were they lucky socks?
No, actually, my feet just cannot take like barefoot running. So if I run barefoot, like my whole feet are full of blood. So I just put the socks. It actually takes like 3 seconds or 2. Like, I don't lose much time. You can see on the results. And then it's just helping me not to slip around in my shoes when I'm like drinking water. So actually, for me, it's worth it. I would do it all the time.
Well, it was a brilliant race. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Whew.
She's the greatest.
Amazing.
That was great. Let's have a look back then at how it all played out. Seems like it happened 4 hours ago, the way it was. Aussie exit, Kropko led out, and then back in again, and the 2 of them were alongside Brown were the choice swimmers. There was a little bit of argy-bargy at the start of the bike, and then it settled into a pretty, I don't want to say pedestrian or tactical, bike leg, where a lot of people were looking to save their legs as much as possible. And then that resulted in a big group of 26 athletes coming down the hill and onto the blue carpet here at the Under-23 World Championships. And then it was a real tactical battle. We said at the end of the bike, now we're going to have a great run. And we certainly did that. Ilona Hadhoum came out first. Then it was a group of 6. And then that group grew to 9 as a few athletes bridged across from the chasing pack. And eventually, after that group stayed together for a little while, on the second lap, it was Czech athlete Heidi Jurenkova who went out first. Then there was a little confusion, and then she was passed by Angelika Prestia, and then she just stopped for a second. We didn't get to see that there. She picked it back up again, ended up finishing 6th in the end. Prestia looked like she had one hand on it until the last 100 metres, where Richelle Hill and Marta Kropko attacked. Hill made it stick, and Prestia couldn't do anything to return, and not riding a wave of home support here in Wollongong, Richelle Hill became the Under-23 World Champion. Kropko finished 3rd, Prestia 2nd. There was a sprint at the back end between Casals and Manami Hayashi for 4th place. Hayashi got there in the end. Sasinski finished 7th behind Jurenkova, and all of us, both of us, just blew a gasket.
Blew a gasket, I definitely
100%.
did. Unbelievable. 2
seconds in the end it was. It was decided by 4 seconds last year, so this race just continually throws up absolute crackers. And this time it was 2 seconds, so next time it'll be a dead heat. Marta Kropko 3rd, Hayashi, Casals, Jurenkova, Sasinski, Espinoza, Hadhoum, who led out in the first steps of the run, ended up finishing 9th, and Sophia Howell, who made herself a factor at different times, ended up in 10th position overall. And I got a headache from yelling, which is when you know it's been a good race.
Unbelievable. And you know, when they got in off the bike, we said that. We said, okay, that was a big group. We knew that meant this run was going to be on like Donkey Kong, and it absolutely was, and then some.
Yeah, it's been a huge day of racing here in Wollongong as Richelle Hill is congratulated by, I have no idea, boyfriend, brother, random hanger-on, not sure.
I can see Mum in the background there. And look, that's Aspen Anderson there.
Yep.
That's fantastic. She will get her chance to race tomorrow. This will be great motivation for Aspen. Aspen actually crying. That's how much it meant. And that is her mum, Rena. Fantastic to see her mum down on ground.
You just want to see your mum at the end. Doesn't matter whether you go well or not. But so much congratulations. I saw Non-Stanford in there as well. And that wraps up what has been a cracking day of weather and racing here. And earlier on, if you missed it, let's have a little look back at how the men's went. This was at 2:15 local time. And in the number one was Martin Kropko, not Marta, Martin. And it was a bit of a different swim, spread quite wide heading out the first time. And there wasn't quite the same amount of swell as there was in the women's race. That's Kropko losing his cap on the right-hand side. He'd come out first. João Batista would come out in second. And there is Batista in the yellow. The Portuguese athlete, his brother Ricardo, obviously will be racing in the elites. Out came Kropko, out came Batista. Batista could not get his wetsuit undone, so you can see him still trying to figure it out there. Not such a big problem though for Ollie Conway, who said before the race that he needed to limit the amount of damage in the swim. There was no damage. He came out in the front group. It was Michael Garr, the other British athlete, who led out first. He'd eventually fade in the run. There was a group of 12 as they headed out onto the bike, a lot more aggressive on the racing. Theo Marti of Luxembourg had an issue, grabbed the front brake, went over the handlebars. Rory Thornhill tried to push that group closer, but the gaps went out to over 2 minutes in the end as the front group continued to work really hard. Mathis Beaulieu had a look behind him, and then someone came across in front of him, and he grabbed the brake and down he went, taking a couple of athletes, including Jules Retheret, who was a real contender with him. Retheret would finish the race in the end in about 10th or 11th position. They came in hot on the blue carpet after that downhill, and Ollie Conway said, see you later from that point onwards. Got out first, had a great transition, and then it was just daylight, and it was a race amongst the rest of them for the rest of the podium. Unlike the women, Conway made it stick because he did not take his foot off the gas. He ran sub 3-minute kilometres for the entire race at the peak of the day's heat, including some really serious climbs as well. Ended up with a 29.58. Kropko made the move on the third lap hill, and you can see how much he dug deep to do that. That would secure him the silver medal to go with his sister's bronze, and Conway announced himself with one of the great seasons for a junior athlete. It's, you know, we're probably going to be talking about this season as the time he really announced himself, as we continue to hear from him and from Martin Kropko for the next 10 years. And Ewan De Nigro made it in Italy 3-4 with a great effort in the end, but huge respect between these guys, and that was the results in the end. Ollie Conway just streets ahead of everyone, ended up winning by 39 seconds. Ewan De Nigro, Miguel Espuna-La-Ramona next. Mitch Kalkman in 5th position. Jules Retheret did so well to run back in after coming off on the bike towards the end. And the Aussie vibes are high, Belinda, right now after what has just happened.
Yeah, especially. I mean, we knew that we were in it for a chance here with the likes of Tara Satinski and Richelle Hill. And we started to watch them slightly fade midway through that run. But what a fighter Richelle Hill is. And that sprint finish, I tell you, I don't want to ever get into a sprint finish with that young woman. She is lethal.
Yeah, absolutely right. As the sun sets on a beautiful day here in Wollongong, we've got so much more to come. The juniors tomorrow afternoon. Don't go anywhere, though, because we've got the medal ceremonies coming up, so we're going to see our athletes awarded and honoured as they should be after what has been, Belinda, like a really hard day's racing.
Absolutely. Especially what we expect at a World Championship.
All right. It's been a big season. There's no doubt about it for the elites. Unlike the under-23s and the juniors and the para-athletes, it's not a one-day World Championship. It's the culmination of what has been a huge season.
It's amazing to be part of this era of the sport.
A new, fresh start.
Looking forward to racing and getting the season rolling.
We've got some of the stars of tomorrow, I think.
We will see who gets the win.
And here we go.
100. The athletes give every ounce of energy they have.
That is the effort of T100.
Now the race is on.
It is a run showdown. Your world champion.
Race ready. Holiday ready. Wollongong blends world-class training with the perfect coastal stay. Where your championship journey meets your getaway.
What a great place to be. It is one of the great places in the world to watch, to train, or to race triathlon, or in fact to be in general. And very soon now we're going to pick up our medal ceremonies and enjoy celebrating our under-23 world champions, men's and women's. And they have earned it today because it has been tough conditions. It has thrown everything at these athletes. And I keep saying it, but that's what you want. You want an athlete who wins a title of this magnitude to have been through all of the possible wrinkles and conditions and issues, and to have achieved them at a higher level than everybody else. And you do not want it to be easy. And today, it was not easy.
No, it certainly was not. But as I mentioned right before the break then, it's what we expect, it's what we demand of our World Championship. We want to see the best of the best. We want to see them put themselves in the hurt locker. And that's exactly what we got in both races here today, in both our men's and women's under-23. Incredible finishes. Oliver Conway, brilliant race. Completely different race to what we saw with the women's race, with it coming right down to the wire, right down in the dying kilometres of that run for Richelle to take the win. And fantastic for our Australian team to finally get another win, or get a win in the under-23s. And I know having Aspen Anderson down there on the finish line, I think that bodes well for her tomorrow when she will take on the sprint distance junior race. But whew, I tell you, it's going to be hard for me to sleep tonight. I'm buzzing.
It's not going to be hard for me to sleep. I'm exhausted.
Slightly different.
I'm exhausted. But I can tell you, though, we talked a lot about Michalickova and Horvath. Michalickova ended up finishing 6 minutes and 32 seconds back in 30th position, as we see a replay again of what a great moment this was, and how exciting for the Aussie crowd, and how good for Australian triathlon as well to enjoy this, for those fans that have hung around after racing this morning, or indeed are racing tomorrow, or indeed have just come down to watch the best in action. They were rewarded with an incredible finish as well. And we're just talking about Katrine Horvath. She didn't finish, so disappointing for her. Only 36 athletes finished. We're going to head down now to the presentation, starting with the women as we present our under-23 World Championship podium.
Third place and the winner of the bronze medal at the 2025 World Triathlon Championships, Wollongong, representing Hungary, Marta Kopko. In second place and the winner of the silver medal in the 2025 World Triathlon Championships, Wollongong, representing Italy, Angelica Pescia. First place Triathlon World Champion, representing Australia, Richelle Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you can for the playing of the national anthem of Australia.
An incredibly emotional podium for all three of these athletes who have done the extraordinary, and that's what the World Triathlon motto is, be your extraordinary. They've certainly shown us that. And it was Richelle Hill who was just slightly more extraordinary than the others on the day today, and she adds an incredibly important line to her resume as an elite athlete. The biggest win of her career, and Angelica Prestia should be very proud with her silver medal. She put it all out there, as we asked these athletes to do here in commentary, and Marta Kropko makes it 2 from 2, and you can see Martin Kropko there nodding as well, and both of them doing it for their younger sister, who is at home in Zurich now, where they live. And we'll bring the men out in just a second, and they've had to get changed back into their race suits for it. I wonder if they're new ones or not.
The last thing they wanted to do.
I hope it's a new one for their sake, but they'll be coming out, and it is Oliver Conway, of course, who dominated in incredible fashion on what has been an amazing day, and probably the more fancied Martin Kropko and Ewan De Negro in third.
2025 World Triathlon Championship, Wollongong. Presenting medals is Katerina Vocki, World Triathlon Executive Board member, and presenting gifts is Mr. Paul Stevens, President of Oz Triathlon. In third place, and the winner of the bronze medal in the 2025 World Triathlon Championships Wollongong, representing Italy, Ewan De Negro. In second place, and the winner of the silver medal at the 2025 World Triathlon Championships Wollongong, representing Hungary, Martin Kropko. In first place in the 2025 Under-23 Triathlon World Champion, representing Great Britain, Oliver Conway. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise if you can for the playing of the national anthem of Great Britain.
The three fastest under-23 men in the world, getting the obligatory photo from Tommy Zafiris, one of the World Triathlon photographers.
Gentlemen, if you don't mind going to the front of the stage, we are welcoming back on stage the women's medalists as well for our champagne celebration.
Oh, this is what we've been waiting all day for, Will.
Maybe you. I always like the racing part.
It's when these athletes up on stage now, so these 6 athletes get to celebrate what was an incredible day of racing.
Ewan De Negro does not need to get up on the third step
He can
at
stay
all.
right where he is.
At all.
And he's still tall. He'll still be taller than them all.
Assuming they are all, in fact, old enough in their respective countries to spray champagne. Maybe it's just me feeling old, but they all look like they're about 13.
The fact that they know how to pop these
Yeah.
apart. Look.
It's good to see.
Ollie Conway, it's not going to be the last champagne bottle that he gets to pop.
I don't think
this
any of these
lifetime.
athletes.
None of them.
Any of these athletes, 2 Italians and 2 Hungarians, an Aussie and a Brit. After what has been, I've got to say, some of the hardest racing we've seen. This course is a real doozy if you enjoy watching racing that is properly tough and watching the very best do it on the biggest stage. That's exactly what we saw today. And we celebrate these athletes. And the best part about this, Belinda Granger...
Look at that, an Italian and Hungarian bookends sandwich, exactly right. Fabulous, fabulous racing.
Yeah, it was fabulous racing, and that wraps us up from here in Wollongong. But the best part, well, it's only just begun. Tomorrow, from 2:15 p.m. local time, the World Junior Championships will be decided. Lots of para-athletes on Saturday, and then the elites on Sunday. Can Matt Hauser, Cassandra Beaugrand, Miguel Hidalgo, or Beth Potter become the world champions? That is the big question. And up until then, from Belinda Granger and myself, it is bye for now.
See you all tomorrow.